North American stock futures back in positive territory ahead of the latest decision on interest rates coming up this afternoon from the Federal Reserve. They'll wrap up their two-day meeting, ended off by the decision, and more importantly, the accompanying statement at 2 p.m. this afternoon is when we'll get that. Everyone obviously going to pay close attention, looking for any signs of the word tapering and the asset purchasing program when that will start to kind of wind down for the Fed. So we'll watch that coming up at 2 p.m. Also adding to the positive sentiment this afternoon, Chinese media overnight reporting that Evergrande will, in fact, make their payment coming up on Thursday that everyone was very concerned about. So we'll talk about the effects that could have this morning as well. Markets shook off early strength yesterday, looking very similar this morning. If you remember yesterday, we ended down for the S&P and the Dow. The NASDAQ held on to a slight gain. Some earnings to talk about this morning. Adobe reported, Stitch Fix as well, FedEx to the downside, pretty ugly for FedEx so far. Coinbase as well, interesting. They've officially shelved that planned program that they were talking about back in June for the crypto-based lending program, thanks to the SEC, and Lucid extending its recent run as well. We'll talk about Lucid Group coming up. It's Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Hey guys, yeah, welcome. It is a Tuesday, as we mentioned. Interesting looking one setting up here. 0.6 so far for the S&P, there or thereabouts for the Dow and the NASDAQ as well, back in positive territory here, as we mentioned. A couple more positive notes to start things off this morning. Getting the markets, anyways, back to the upside. We'll discuss this Evergrande thing coming up. We also have the Fed. That's going to be the main story, it would seem, so far today.
Yes, sir. Welcome. It's hump day. I'm going to go on a limb and say the Fed will not make any change to the rate. That's not what anyone cares about. Everyone knows they're not going to make a change. What we care about is going to be when they discuss tapering or the lack thereof or whenever they might start it. So that's going to be on people's minds. There is a slight move back up in the market because Evergrande made a payment. That story is clearly not done. You're getting some stabilization overall in the markets, but still got those feels. You saw what happened to a good company called Adobe when they beat. They got absolutely crushed, which I don't think surprised too many people. We talked about some downside there. And then FedEx as well, heading to the downside. Stitch Fix, although caution on Stitch Fix, when you look at that impressive amount that they're up, it is on absurdly low volume in the pre-market, but it is a strong gap up and a beat for them. A lot is moving, including Marin and of course, the ones from yesterday, Uber testing that 45 one more time. It was double top yesterday, testing it today, and Lucid testing a double top as well. So lots of action.
Yeah, we've listed, hey guys, welcome to the show one more time. It's 8:30 and we're getting ready to rock and roll about an hour until the market opens up. And yeah, we're going to be watching various names. We put it out on our watch list. Of course, watchlist.tradertv.live. Make sure you sign up for that. I'm on the sticky note. We have the Lucid double top as well on there looking at 30. I think that name is overdone to the upside. So we'll see about Lucid, see if it can take out 30. If it does, then hey man, we'll punch the long. But other than that, I like a short there. I like a long in Adobe, down 3 and a bit percent. It happens every earnings report. Good call for some of you that were taking Adobe yesterday short. And FedEx, really, that's the real surprise. I mean, here's Adobe's big, ugly 20-minute candle to the downside, but it's holding 620. And then, of course, we'll talk about FedEx as well, and that's near a key level. We've got to go all the way back to February to find that level, Brendan.
Yeah, Adobe was the forecast that was just in line, I guess, with expectations. So not good for either. We'll discuss those further coming up here. Before we do, let's get over and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a wonderful day. Enjoy the show and please support and like this video. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, lots to discuss, guys, as we head towards the open here. Under an hour to go. I want to kick things off, though, with just a thought here on the overall market as we head towards the Fed decision. Obviously not going to matter, but what is to come with that is the statement, then the press conference afterwards from Fed Chair Powell, where anyone and everyone who is looking at the market is going to be searching for that word tapering and how it is used in this statement, and whether or not we will even hear that word tapering this afternoon when that statement comes. We had the inflation data to kick off this month that was surprisingly low. Remember, everyone was kind of pointing towards tapering because of higher inflation, but do we even hear that this afternoon, guys?
I think, look, they're not going to announce tapering. At this point, I think most of the analysts that make bets on these things or actually make prognostications on this are saying that you will get an announcement about tapering at the earliest October and probably November, and then it could start, and they could start in December. So like, we're not going to get an announcement saying tapering is starting. That's just the overall expectation. The question is, there's going to be anything in the language that suggests that it is upcoming? I think once you start down that path, then we start looking at the future rate hikes for 2022, what will be priced in. And of course, everyone's going to be looking at that old dot plot. The reality of this situation is you also had the market pulling back in. You've got heightened COVID concerns. Yes, inflation has tapered off a little bit, but there's still a lot of supply chain concerns. You have the Evergrande story, so it'll be very hard for them to come out with any aggressively hawkish language. So it's just what it would seem to me. If there is a surprise and they do come strongly indicating that tapering is coming this year, I think that could actually end up moving the market. At least you might get one of those initial spikes to the downside. But I'm not really thinking that's necessarily going to be the case. Powell's done a very good job usually of sort of soothing and calming down the markets there. You can see, like, we're in the midst of, and again, this is like a pullback. You can't use the term correction. It's a nice little somewhat dip. Some people have said if you call it a dip, people ask you what dip in the ES overall, and then we're essentially right back into levels from like a month ago. It's just, it hasn't been a huge move down. That's why I kind of feel like it might not be over. I think that we're more waiting for the Evergrande thing to play out. I'm sure we could get a shock from the Fed. I'm not sure that's going to be the catalyst. It's more the fact that we couldn't sustain yesterday's rally to me that has me feeling iffy, right? Like we looked like we were going to close positively around like 0.5% or somewhere around there, and then suddenly we gave everything back except for the NASDAQ, which barely closed positive. And on a relief day, like a bounce day, I would have expected some of those gains to get held, and that didn't happen, and then you had the bad earnings. So that's weighing on me today. We'll wait around for Fed. I don't know if I'll be making a trade off of it, but I'd certainly want to be flat if I was trading a momentum stock.
Yeah, I think you want to look at something, like gold or something like that. I mean, we'll see GDX tends to move, GLD tends to move. If you're looking on the equity side, you can look at a Barrick Gold, things like that for when we, find out what they're going to say. And I agree. I don't think there's going to be, this market, I don't think right now can absorb any kind of a shock that's not expected. So I don't believe the Fed does anything today, but again, we'll wait to see. And it's going to be more obviously about the hawkish talk and about if there is that taper word there, Brendan. But if you look here at the S&P, this is the SPY, so the S&P 500, and we actually are now quite effectively dipping. So, I mean, we've come through the 50-period moving average. You could see here, this is the 50-period moving average the whole way. We basically rode this all the way up. I mean, let's discount from last September here where we made this exact same move. So, I mean, can I zoom this out back a little bit more? Yeah, just so you guys can see. So here we go. So forget about it. But this is the market. This is the market that we've been in. I mean, it's been just a monster. I mean, if you're talking about like a roller coaster, right? This is the hill, just still climbing all the way up. And now you're finally starting to get to the downside here. But if you look here, back last September, we dipped down. We touched 333 was the 50-period moving average, and we went down to 320. So that's $13 on 300, right? So right here, you're at 444, basically, almost exactly that much higher. You dip that down, so we should be almost getting ready, like. Yeah, funny thing here, I'm going to say 420, but if we come in between 420 and 430, which isn't too far down, I think we're into some buying opportunities, right? So I think we're getting ready to start to dispose some capital in the markets. Let's just see what happens now with the Fed today. I don't expect anything. They would be crazy to do anything to rates. I don't think that happens. And the talk is just the talk, right? Because no matter what they say, there's going to be people that are going to be dovish, and there's going to be analysts that are hawkish. So I'm excited for the number, but I don't think it's going to be anything worth stamping your hat on or anything like that.
Cassava Sciences just popping up here, guys. Big move so far, 22% back to 66, 65. So they just released some more data, 12-month interim data on their simulflam Alzheimer's disease study. So heads up on Cassava Sciences. I mean, we've spoken in depth about this one. 120 to, what was it, 40 at the bottom? Back to 65 here, guys, for Cassava.
So yeah, okay, it has made the 120, but I'll always remember that 145 double top, and it's one of those, you tend to not forget events like this, in part because on that same day I managed to turn the least impressive $7 winner, and then learned a lot when Arun had a trade in the afternoon for like a $20 winner, and I changed my process on Sava, so I was able to capture some of that the next time I traded it. But is it immediately pops back up here? My inclination is almost always to fade Cassava Sciences. It's one thing to catch it. And I did try some longs when it was consolidating before, actually back in the consolidation around the 50s and the high 40s. But you look at some of these bottoms and you look for the peaks and troughs, and you want that whip bottom to turn into support. But you look at this, it's almost like a $65 to $70 range, and that's the tricky thing with it, right? Like, you know, it's likely to come into that range, and then people that bought this move are going to start to think about selling. But it breaks 65, goes all the way up to 70. Getting into that trade is tricky. Like, if you shorted on that move, you're looking at 66, 67, maybe 68, and then your risk to reward is just skewed. Like, you're still in that trade trying to get a good winner because scalping a dollar on Sava isn't there. I'm waiting for this one to open back up. If it shows me enough strength to break through 70, then I'm going to be all over this one, because you know, if it breaks 70, it can extend that move to 80, where I'd be a heck of a lot more comfortable shorting it. I don't like playing out in the longs. It would probably have to retrace to like $50 or so for me to be involved in that, like somewhere close to yesterday's close. But having just missed out on that 70 level, I feel very, very comfortable sitting on the sidelines with Cassava Sciences, because when it moves, it's going to have the opportunities there for you. And the last thing you need to do is force an entry point, because you're usually going to get something a little bit later on. And pre-market, when this thing will have dollar spread sometimes, and maybe even more than that, that's not the time to chase.
Yeah, no, you're not going to chase it right now. It's 50 cents right now on the spread. And what was it? Just top line data came out on their Alzheimer's. So yeah, that's going to be good. I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I think you got to just wait for it to open up. You know, this one kind of caught me off, not really off guard. I mean, there's really going to be, there's going to be nothing here. So you're just going to have to wait, and we're going to have to use basically the 1 minute chart here, or the 3 minute chart once the market opens. It gives us a little bit more data, but I don't know, bounce around here around 55. So if we can come back down to there, we'll look at this. But for me right now, I don't know enough about it. I don't know what the market's going to do. So I'm going to stay away from Sava today. Maybe not all day, but I'm going to stay away from it until we develop some levels, and then we can see where we're breaking and whatnot.
Yeah, very headline-driven type of stock, but worth adding to the watch list today. Uber, guys, want to mention Uber here. Remember yesterday, impressive move after they said, yeah, it could be this quarter that they are profitable for the first time ever. So we're testing right now as we speak these highs from yesterday, up another almost 1.5% here in the pre-market for Uber.
Yeah, this is going to be a very deceiving a break of this level at 45, and like, I'll look at the higher time frame. You can see the double top on the 15-minute chart here, and the crazy rally that it had. And it was a fantastic one for them. And try to always use like air quotes when you talk about. Like, I'm going to use air quotes when we talk about profitability for Uber as someone who owns the shares, because everyone has their own metrics for it, and it's not the hard sense of profitability, but it's still to me a good reopen play. And someone in the chat was like, hey, if you like this, you can buy, and there's some airlines, and they're like DoorDash, and a couple of other reopen names. I've liked Uber because I think ride sharing is here to stay, and because they've done a decent job of understanding where to go when things went bad, in terms of leaning on food delivery, which is going to be a good one for them, and eventually automation will come. This is just a simple double top at 45, and I like the break, and I like the look out of the breakout on the daily chart. You had both breaking a cluster at the bottom and the 50 period and a previous support level, and then getting right into the most obvious next resistance point at 45, stalling, making the double top, and that break has a clear path to about 47.5, 48, just in terms of momentum. But as I just said, it's a little bit deceiving here, because this volume spike, And there's a lot of dark pool dumping. It wasn't a ton of volume going into this break, and it hasn't been done a ton of volume pre-market. It goes up like 5 or 6 cents, and then it's essentially barcoding. So the first thing I typed in the chat to tell people is, I'm going to go with a very quick tight stop on this trade, and then probably revisit it. I'm still going to like the idea of going long on this breakout. It doesn't mean it has to be this one is the one that goes, or that it's going to be 9:30, or that it's going to be today, or could easily be tomorrow. But the lack of volume here will have me tightening it up. I'm still holding the shares that I have, and I still think it can give you that bigger move, not necessarily like a 25 or 50 cent scalp, because that's not what I was trying to get at with this. And if it turns into a situation where I just need to be buying the dip, first level I'm looking at, and this is why I want to have a tightish stop, because it's not really even 44 that I'd be looking for, because I have the feels that the market could be down today. If that's the case, I'd be looking closer to the 43 to 43.5 cluster for a dip buy. So I'm in Uber right now. We'll see if we can get this one to go to the upside. I love the profile on the daily chart. Candidly added it a couple of days ago because I was waiting for it to finally make a bit of a bottom. Because it started the position in that bad boy and then was waiting months to add to it when it finally seemed like it made sense, and relative strength came in on that disastrous start to the week that we had overall in the market. Uber was relatively strong. That's what we waited for. All systems go. Now it's a pure momentum play today.
Yeah, Uber yesterday, a big move up. We were able to get out of its way a whole bunch of times and wound up positive on it. I mean, we had, I think we had one negative stock yesterday. My tick, oh yeah, they are on here. Yeah, so this is what we wound up doing yesterday. All of these shorts, so that's pretty impressive that they still kept them on. All of these shorts, all cashed in, and we were able to get out of the way, and we didn't have to worry about this big run up to 45. But wow, we were not expecting that kind of a move yesterday, and it's nice to see it's 1.5%. I heard the American Sean, Mr. Jim Cramer, talking about Uber yesterday, and he likes it. He also likes Airbnb as well. So if you look at Airbnb, I mean, that's another name here. He's just talking about the service industry again, and that might be a good place to sort of, I don't know about hiding, but it might be a good place to chill. Like, what is going on here? Like, I just had Airbnb in the NASDAQ, now it's NY. Let's go NASDAQ, there you go. Airbnb, hopefully that'll switch it up. But we had a nice bottom in this name the same way as we did on Uber. So I think that these names need to be, I mean, it wasn't recently, but it was back here at 130, 140. Now you're all the way back up to 170. So I sort of concur with Kramer's take on Airbnb. I think more people, especially if there is this fourth wave, which I guess we're sort of going through right now, if that's here, then, people don't want to stay at hotels. They'd rather stay at homes, private residences, things like that. And I think it's all about the service industry right now. I would rather look at Uber than Lyft, because Lyft doesn't have the delivery business. So I like that, and I do like Airbnb. But again, I'm still pretty bearish on the market for the next couple of days. So I want to see some of these names pull back in. I do want to get into Uber, but it's going to have to be, around 43, 42-ish now if it comes back down there. So we'll wait for a little bit of a pullback in some of these names, but I do like the service names. Let me know if you have any other ideas. Tweet me at TraderTV Sean with any other names similar to Airbnb or Uber.
We'll get into some of the other ones moving around here, guys, in the pre-market, but I want to mention Disney here as well, because we saw that big move down late in the day yesterday after they came out and said delays for TV programming and production due to COVID-19 on the Delta side. I read at least 3, possibly even 4 analyst notes this morning saying that this move that happened on that note yesterday was way overdone. We are higher today. But, I mean, big-time levels here for Disney, guys.
Thank you for the super chat.
Let's rain down the money.
Sample stuff. I don't know if you actually saw that, Brendan.
If he has any samples for us.
I don't know if you saw it, Brendan. We got a super chat right before asking about Disney, just before you teed that one up. So as usual, Brendan reads minds. It's a little bit eerie, but that's okay. Disney, it just fell right into support as the algos ate that one up. And I say algos, but it's usually when a market falls, when a stock falls like that on negative news, a lot of what causes the drop, or at least initially, is going to be the bid pulling. And since the market making is done by algorithms right now, that's what I mean by the algos getting out of the way of it, probably causing it to fall a little bit too far. Sean, I know you had a good long that I believe in. I've been holding Disney for a long time. I think it was a much better idea to catch the bottom in the absolute panic on a move like that. But today, the only thing standing in the way of these lower highs, like 170 lower highs, good place to get into it if you're not already in, is the simple fact that it just, yesterday afternoon's reaction that the market put in bouncing or sort of not sustaining some of that bounce. It just didn't give me the greatest feeling in the world. Overall, that's the only cautionary thing I would have. Usually panic is a great time to get into Disney. Like I said, I'm personally not going to be adding to it, but I like this 170 level for support. You're just having to pay up a few dollars this morning. Yesterday, of course, in that midst of that panic, when you initially think that news, if you think it's overdone, that's usually your best chance to do it. That said, I think this is the same area, 172, 173, where it settled down yesterday's action, where I think you were picking it up anyway, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, my trades won't show up on here, but for some reason they show up for one stock and not for the other. But no, Disney I think was actually the only negative stock that we had yesterday because we kept thinking it was going to break this 173.50. So it didn't do that yesterday. So to me, that's a kind of a no-brainer long there. If it wants to test it, I'll take it, and we'll see where we go from here. But right now, just kind of barcoding, and what barcoding means is just back and forth, up and down. Someone said they're new to the show. Our positions are going to be at the bottom, right? So we're trading the actual equity. We have the ability to get in pre-market. So I'm not in anything right now, but you see Neil has 2 positions. So and then I think you traded another one, and it will show the.
I traded NNVC for a loser.
Yeah, it'll show the profit. I was going to say it also shows the profit per share at the bottom that we've been trading. So here we go. Okay, so they loaded up there. So now my positions did load up. So as you can see, I kept trying the longs. All of these are longs. Anything that is purple will be a short. There's no purples here. So we tried it. It was, I think, really the only real bad out was right there when we broke 171.50. I don't know why we didn't hold that. I mean, in hindsight, when you look back at some of the trade decisions you make, it's like, what the hell? Heck. But yeah, all the way back to the downside there. You did have a flush to 169, like Neil was saying, when some of those bids just evaporate because Bob Chapek came out and said, that's a Disney CEO, of course, that he is a little scared of this next wave of coronavirus possibly, and that they've had to slow down production, things like that. So if they're slowing down production, that means obviously less content hitting their streaming service, which is a huge revenue source for them right now. I mean, not huge, but also talking about theme parks maybe slowing down if travel restrictions are placed again. I don't think anything that's going to happen. And honestly, I don't think the lack of content hurts Disney. I think people are just going to sign up for that. And if they delay Mandalorian season 3, or have we already had season 2? I think we have, right? So if Mandalorian season 3, I don't even know if there is one, but I guess there is.
Oh, there's going to be one.
Yeah, so if that's delayed 6 months, does anybody cancel or anything like that? I don't think so. So
I might cry, but.
Yeah, people will be upset. There's no doubt about that. But honestly, in streaming wars, there's only a few options that we all know them: Netflix, Disney, Apple TV. I mean, there's really nothing else. And then YouTube has their own TV program as well, Hulu. But, Disney's in that realm now, and I think theme parks are always going to be profitable for them. So we'll wait to see what happens. But travel needs to be back. And I think you pick up Disney on any weakness. I just don't think the weakness is done yet.
All right, a few analyst moves here to pass along for you this morning, guys. Upgrades, downgrades. Adobe, top of the list here. Citigroup. It's worth noting, though, there was 5, 6, maybe 7 even analysts with price target increases on Adobe today. Lennar on here, they reported recently. A couple of airlines on the downgrade side today. FedEx over here as well after earnings, guys.
So we're actually going to, Sean finish with travel, and then I saw Southwest up there, and I was going to quickly talk about them, but we were just saying that Disney has a bunch of new stuff out there that they're not marketing really well because I don't notice they're there until I actually log into it. But anyways, it's 2 days in a row that I'm asking for things from Disney, but hey, you could let me know what's new a little bit more effectively. Southwest, and we just talked about, I guess, to an extent, reopen plays, and specifically travel, when Sean just mentioned it there in regards to Disney. But the leveling off that's happening in this particular name, and candidly, I've said for a long time, I've never gotten airlines because they're such a utility to me, and it's such a tricky industry. At the same time, it's absolutely undeniable that there's going to be a possible breakout, and I go back to our friend and guest that we used to have on here. We talk all about Southwest being a good name, and you're getting this cluster that it's starting to make here off of clear support. You had breakout area from early in the year, and then you had double support down at about 47, and now we're holding it and trying to break back above 50. This one it's lining up, man, and it's just you start to see something like this, and you look for that day when it's going to be in all systems go. And it's just on a Fed day, And I'm talking about like this 50 to 50 quarter area here on a Fed day. I know we're about 80 cents away, so it doesn't maybe think like it's going to happen today. But given the market environment, particularly today, I wouldn't love that break if it came. But Southwest is on my radar for a potential breakout. And this will be a day trade for me. I'm not saying that I'm going to get into this one on the long-term account, but at some point this is really starting to line up. Especially as long as we hold this this recent low that we had in the daily chart, then I'm going to like this area break. It'll probably end up being more of a 50 quarter just because it's failed through 50 even like several times. So you're going to need it to extend past a quarter at least when this does happen. Maybe it isn't today, but this certainly it's popping onto the radar, and I'm going to make sure that I watch it every single day until we get that trade.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Martin Software here, but well, that's going to be on our watch list, so we're going to pass over that. Yesterday, AMC, well, we will talk about it very, very soon, guys, so stay with us. Oh, come on, charts. Okay, there we go. So yesterday, we bottomed out at 38.50. I think that could be a level to watch today. It's been, well, we didn't bottom out. I guess that's in the pre-market we bottomed out. This is 37.50, I meant to say. So 37.50 yesterday we bottomed out at. Right now, we're trying to hold this 38.50. I think that's going to be something interesting there to watch out for as it tried to hold. We got one flush down, and then now you're back to the upside. I think AMC's been beat down for a little while here over the last week, I guess. We were just $48 back on the 17th, Friday, basically. I guess that's the 16th, sorry. So Friday, and then it's just been, cascading to the downside here. We'll see if AMC can pick up a bit around 38 on the daily chart. It's the same thing. We're just cracking through now this 50-period moving average, which is a very, very key indicator for me. So, and I think, like I said, I just believe that there's some kind of support above all of this. So we'll see, because I don't think, the apes are going to do what they're going to do, and they're not going to sell, so that's not the issue. I just think that this has been a big pullback. Whether or not you believe AMC right now is a squeeze play or not, I don't. That's going to happen at some point, and I don't know if we're ever going to get anything like this again. But what I mean by squeeze is just straight up. One day you're going to get up 100, 300%, like we were getting in February. This is actually back here. This was a big squeeze, obviously the first one, and then this one back in May was a monster. I don't know if we get anything like that again, but if we can withstand some of this pressure down here in the mid 30s, then I think we might have something. So yesterday was its first test at 37.50. Let's get long AMC if we can get anywhere near 38. I think that's worth it, and then we'll see if that 37.50 holds from yesterday.
More negativity here, guys, for Workhorse, WKHS. Anyone watching that one? Never mind about this, but up here you can see the company plans to suspend deliveries of its C1000 vehicles, and they're also going to recall the 41 they've already delivered. So big move down here, 10% for Workhorse, once again under pressure, so heads up there. Let's get into what is moving around here in the pre-market this morning. We'll touch on a few names. If you do need the morning watch list, that is the link to pick it up. All you need is an email address. You can have it every morning, absolutely free to you. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do require that link. Once again, let's get started here. Lots to talk about. FedEx, the first one we'll discuss here, guys, to the downside in a big way. They missed Q1 profit. This is their, obviously, fiscal Q1. And they also cut their full-year profit forecast going forward, talking about supply chain disruptions and delays, and not good here for FDX.
And rising costs. I'll tell you who doesn't believe that things are transitory. Inflation. FedEx doesn't. And I mean, hey, what's interesting to me about that whole debate is I would think that companies that have direct skin in the game and experience with such matters would have a pretty sound idea as to where costs are going to be going, whether they think it's transitory or not. Now, FedEx, it didn't take very long. It didn't take very long for it to get right into that 234 support, because as a matter of fact, that's almost where we dipped into in the aftermarket yesterday, and it's now extending into that range. It touched 235. I think this was one that I think we both feared would get to that particular price. Maybe it even breaks down into a 220 level. I'm not it's not a very good looking chart, and it's not a very good day or week or set of circumstances for you to be at a level like this. And I look at that 235 level and just say to myself, it's going to be hard not to have a break at 235 on FedEx. It's just the sheer momentum, that kind of a level. Now, you do have to have some concern with that 234 on the daily. but I'd still want to have that break, and I still want to try to give it some room. The trade that usually is my preference in a setup like this is the fade. Right, like it would be if it tries to get to the pre-market or the post-market low, I should say, at that 240 and our current high, pre-market high, which is realistically 238. There's some wicks higher than that. Ignore those. Those are dark pool dumps. In that $2 range is a bit of a rollover short that I would consider putting on. But we're in the bottom end of the range and testing that low. So I think the 235 breakdown is probably going to come first. I take breaks with tighter stops than I would that rollover trade where you give it more room. You're trying to get a bit of a bigger winner. But they said everything that would scare you when it comes to FedEx, and I'm not sure that the pain is done for them, which I think is going to be a good long-term buying opportunity. I'm just not sure you have to do it today. Maybe you're waiting for like closer to 220 on FedEx, but I'm certainly initially looking to go short here, and unless it's above that 240 price, that I wouldn't necessarily change my mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're warning about the supply chain disruptions, things like that. So we'll just wait. I mean, I just shorted Lucid. We'll talk about that when it comes on to our schedule here. I just talked about in the sticky note, which I just tweeted out, that exact same level, which is right here, which is 235 coming into play right now. And we're right at these February lows. I still think, we talked about this yesterday. Oh, yeah, that was the one thing for Rob. The Santa thing isn't working right now, so I'm trying to hit.
There was something else.
Oh, maybe it was gone. What was that, Rob? It's not. No, but it is Christmas. That's why I'm trying to hit it. I want to celebrate FedEx into Christmas.
Every day.
Anyways, it's okay. We'll get that Santa one working, or maybe we'll get a cooler Santa one at some point. But I did like it. Anyways, FedEx. Look, I still think there are some tailwinds coming in, and that's why I talked about that. You have Black Friday coming up. You have Christmas coming up, but this isn't rocket science. Everybody knows that these are major holidays, and shipping companies tend to do well. Is it working now?
Oh, he just put it up.
Oh, he just put it up. Okay, good. So there it is. So it doesn't matter if I hit it, but Rob just did. Another name, there it is. Thank you, Rob. See, he's back. Okay, so UPS is another name that we can look at as well. They'll probably get hit today not probably, they are getting hit today, down 3% as well on this. It looks very, very similar. I don't know. I got to do a little bit of work to see which one I want to buy one of these. I just got to find out which is the better one to buy. So UPS looks like it's had a much less dramatic dip down and has beautiful support down here at 160-ish. So if we continue to fall down, I want to stop looking at FedEx and maybe look at UPS, but more work needs to be done. I'm going to stay away from basically. I want to buy that. Right now the spread is not that bad. Now it's $1. Now it's $1. But when it moves, it's bad. But FedEx right here this is a big move down. I don't know if 6% is the right amount here. I think we could probably buy this one and off of that 235 bottom. So we've already bottomed off here at 236. Let's put a bid around 236, and then if that 235 cracks, we can get out. But I think it's worth the risk. But here goes FedEx right now to the upside. Look at the NASDAQ starting to go as well. Maybe this is a positive day for us here.
Important day for the overall market. We'll get, as we said, the Fed coming out at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Let's bring in Arun here and get a check of the overall market, understand a little bit about what we need to be aware of this morning, Arun.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, Fed, that's the big one, right? 2 p.m. we have it's pretty much Fed day. So from the open, we're probably going to get a burst of volume, and then we're probably going to slow down, I would imagine, by 11 o'clock or so, more than normal, as people kind of wait for the Fed to come out at 2 p.m. And then at 2 p.m. you get that out. And 2:30, I believe, is your press conference. And pretty much from that point on, right until the close, you're probably going to get a decent amount of activity, volatility. Everyone's waiting on this, and it's about time. Not November, but like we are in late September. We're getting closer and closer to when people think things might get changed around, especially the wording. So that's what everyone's looking for. Keep in mind, that's what's going to move the markets, right? Wording changes, anything that's different from the last one. Hints are the big thing right now. And Fed days are always a little volatile, well, to say the least, but in the sense that the first burst of movement you're going to get is all program related trading, as the programs scan the articles looking for certain keywords. And that's why you'll get one sharp move in one direction, then you'll get an immediate move in the opposite direction. And then we're kind of settled in for a bit, and then we'll get an actual real move. That's generally how it goes. Not all the time. You get those rare occurrences where it's just one straight shot in one direction and never stops. That's rare, but more often than not, it's going to be a volatile swing in both directions before we settle in and go. Just be aware that trading it during that time, trading that 2 p.m. Shot is going to be very, very difficult. Unless you're already pre-positioned, it's very difficult to trade at that moment. So I would just stay away. If you're already in the trade though, at that point, I would maybe see if you get a lucky move in your favor. If not, I mean, you probably got to cut and run. Today's levels, 43.75. That's the closest one I've got. We are trending to the upside, so I'm going to let it be. There's no shorts. If we break it, I might consider the possibility of a long with the 42.50 stop. Keep in mind, though, that we have resistance from 85 going up to 4,400. So the upside potential is going to be somewhat limited. So you may have to wait for the 43.75 to break and then come back in a little bit, setting up a long where the risk makes sense given the upside resistance. Below 43.50, we have 43.20. So we have 43.20, 43.50, 43.75, and then 4,400. Those are the four levels that we have that we're working with. Trend is to the upside, so let it just be patient with the short. If you're looking for longs, control your risk. Not a whole lot immediately, not a whole lot right now, but just be aware that apart from the Fed today, we do have the S&B tomorrow and the Bank of England, BOE tomorrow as well. So it's pretty much like a global Fed week, apparently. So just be aware that there may be overnight moves as well. After the 2 p.m. move, we may have some moves from across the pond. So just be aware that there's a lot happening globally in terms of central bank activity. It may all be a whole lot of nothing, but just be aware of the fact that there might be some moves from central banks across the world. So just be aware of the volatility factor going into 2 p.m. That's the only thing I could stress. Just be smart about how you trade going into it. If you are fully positioned, maybe trim some risk just to avoid getting whipped out of any positions you already have.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Adobe, guys, the numbers were better than expected on the per share and revenue side of things. The forecast, however, I mean, they beat on the forecast as well. It was 4.07 billion versus 4.04 billion. So only a little bit to the upside. So, I mean, that was really the only question mark for Adobe. But here we go, down nearly 4% here in the pre-market, guys.
Yeah, in this environment, like it's something that we certainly talked about. Adobe was probably going to have a good quarter, and that they were probably going to sell somewhere into this range. Now, admittedly, it was a large range between like the 610 area and then up to that 625, 630, and then you end up not quite getting into the bottom of it. I think there's at least a decent chance that it could still test that 610 for a bit of a dip. I mean, I'd probably wait. In the long term, I'd probably be waiting a little bit longer if you already have a lot of cloud exposure or tech exposure in general. But if you've been trimming and looking for something to buy on the way down, I mean, Adobe's going to certainly stand out in that regard. I do think that the bigger support is going to be down $10 from here, which, keep in mind, Adobe's a $600 name. So if I said support was $1 away in a $60 stock, you wouldn't think it was that crazy, right? So keep all of that in mind. We're only talking about another 1.5%, probably down a 5% pullback from overnight if we were to get into that support level, which isn't a heck of a lot, right? So I kind of feel like there's going to be that opportunity. I would never throw, on a $600 name, I'm probably not going to throw bids out there, but I am looking to see if it gets down to that 610 level on Adobe for any kind of a dip buy. I didn't even write anything else down. I've zero experience trading breakouts in Adobe. It's just not a name that usually we're ever looking for day trade. So while it might seemingly look like 625 on a potential break with the market, just taking out a bit of a level here at 15.1 on the NASDAQ and trying to get back to the upside, it might seem like that's pretty good, but on Adobe where I have no experience with it, I wouldn't necessarily know how to manage the risk on a breakout there. So I would rather just buy in front of a support level that I feel pretty confident with. If it gets there today, fine, fantastic. If it doesn't, what are you going to do? But not too much of a surprise. They absolutely had to crush it and blow everything away, and it had to be perfect. It couldn't even have any single blemish in the report when you're in a top level like this, and it's not the first time we've seen it. But it could be a fantastic opportunity in the coming days and weeks to get into something which has been running away since it broke 500.
Yeah, Adobe is just such a solid stock. I mean, you got to buy that at any time. What's up, DJ? We got a new member here today, DJ. Let us know what tracks you're spinning there. What kind of a DJ are you? Thank you for joining as well. Tight stops on Lucid. We're going to talk about Lucid in a minute, so I'll get to that. No tight stops on Lucid, not for me. Adobe, yeah. So just like you said, pull back to the 50-period moving average. You're right at a nice support level here. If this thing gets to 600, you just buy it. It's not going to be a day trading compelling name for me at all. It could be a good swing play. If the market rebounds, this thing goes right back to 680. So 600 bid I think is good. If you can get anything down there, let's buy some Adobe. It's going to be recession proof. It's going to be everything. I don't think they're going to care about Evergrande or anything like that. So some of these companies that have weathered COVID here, like Adobe has, I mean, it did go sideways here for almost a year, which is interesting. But then it broke out and it's never come back. So this is a good opportunity to buy some. I like Adobe, but I won't be trading it today.
Let's go to this, just double checking on Marin. If you remember, guys, this was a big squeeze stock going back to the beginning of the summer. Still, I see about 9.25%, 9.3% on the short side. 15, we'll call it 15 million share free float. So it is still pretty teeny tiny on the float. We're up big time today, 83% here after they announced a revenue sharing agreement with Google to develop or further develop their enterprise tech platform. So $10 holding so far here in the pre-market.
Yeah.
The thing to watch from Marin there is that they still have like a 50 million shelf offering that was authorized and rightly pointed out in the chat as well. So just be careful. It's not to say that that's the kind of announcement that comes very often in the middle of the day to trap you. But if you are trying to swing something like this, just know that that's always going to be on the table. So let's sort of dig in, because that 10 level, it's sort of come and gone here, and it would have been a big one if you sort of go back on the daily chart. And I'm looking squarely at 12 in the face here, and it was the first thing when I came in, thinking about, I feel much more comfortable. I'd feel much more comfortable with a short at that 12 level. I'd feel way more comfortable trying to catch a dip at this previous top at 950. I don't know that that's coming into play. It's been rather orderly on this name this morning, basically double topping at 11 even. And once it broke through, and there was a lot of chop in the middle of the range at 10.50, and then holding well above that $10. So 9.50 doesn't seem like it's going to give me a shot unless something drastic happens. So I am willing to play the short trade. Maybe not as aggressively as I would like it if it had been $12, but a double top at 11 does lead you into the possibility of that 9.30 rollover. I would just have a hard stop at the high of the day because, as Brennan rightfully mentioned, there is that short squeeze aspect of this name, and we know what happens when it can go, and that's why you have to tread lightly. Usually not much of a candidate to halt because liquidity tends to be pretty solid when it gets going, but you always have to have that one in the back of your mind. Like I said, I'm not sure we're going to be looking at 950, but if it got to that price, I would certainly be looking to buy the dip on this name. I'm thinking that usually it can have 2-3 day types of rallies in it. So let's see if we can get that 950 at some point in the next couple of days. I also am going to love 12 for a resistance point. If you see it go parabolic and you're thinking where to take some profit, put 12 in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I'm going to go long right now. So I am just long in Marin right now at 1060. So we just take that break right here. I mean, the upside potential for this, just because of what we said, squeeze play. It's done this before. I have no idea what's going to happen with that Google revenue share, but I don't think anybody does what that means for their profitability. But hey, I mean, I'm here to trade this, so I'm going to trade this. And it just goes through 1060 there. We do have that 950 bottom. It's not showing up on this minute chart, but so I'm going to play it off that. It's on my sticky note. I like it. We'll average into it into 950. So for me, Marin, ready to rock and roll right now. We do have a bid downside, even lower at 970, things like that. So this is just a starter position for me. I do want to crack the top as well. So if we break 11, I'm going to be gangbusters on that trade as well. So I mean, I just don't think that this is something that we can ignore. The deal's already announced, which is one of the problems. So you have this big move up here about a month. I guess it was mid-July or early July. Early July, it looks like. Move up to 27, 28, 29. That's not going to happen again, I wouldn't think. But you never know. So let's wait to see what does happen here. We do have that 950 back. I mean, what's the worst case? We'll lose $1 on this name. I don't think we'll even do that. And we'll average into a lot more shares than we have right now. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to see if it comes back to that 950 area, and that'll be my stop. But for right now, I'm happy being long Marin.
Coinbase, guys, just pushing back towards day highs here, trying to break some levels from yesterday's session. They officially said after market yesterday that they were going to shelve that plan for a crypto-based lending program that they announced way back in June. If you remember, then in September, there was the Wells notice received from the SEC, essentially saying if this is launched, expect legal action from the SEC. So Not much action here, guys. I mean, Bitcoin just bounced decently off 42,000, so might be more of the story here, but up for coin today.
Yeah, the lack of volume is sort of, it stinks. And the 240 level is the one we looked at yesterday, and I said yesterday's action, I wanted to fade at 240. It didn't come into play until later in the afternoon when I accidentally left the stop in there like a fool, and then I got triggered into it and had to take a hit on the bit of the spread there. 240 bucks would have been a breakout trade for me had there been any volume and not like about a million other names that look a little bit more exciting. One of which is Uber, which there's a seller at 45.30. I just took some out at 29 in front of it, so I'll try to buy the dip as well. I still like the breakout in Uber. We'll go with, I don't know, we'll walk on a little water. I'm liking this Uber for the break to the upside here, but if it breaks 44.80 at the open, I'd revisit on a dip buy. But this Coinbase, I would love to see volume come in and support the 240 level because there is a nice runway for $5 or $6 up here. And I think even if we were to dip down and give an entry point, like if it's just for whatever reason, maybe just like a failed break here at 240, maybe some people have taken this long, and then enough trigger out, and then it comes down to 238, you could get a consolidation up, and then a second push through that breaks the high that just got put in at 240.50, yeah, if that's still there like 9:45 or 10 o'clock, and then you could go with a breakout like this, and you still have that same runway to 246. But with volume like that, I mean, look, man, Marin's moving like crazy. It's got great volume. ATR's got great volume. We're looking at Coinbase. I think there might be better trades than even a FedEx today. So Coinbase, you got to do more volume than this to get me interested in that 240 level, which was a bit of a dud. I mean, that short gave you $1.50 on a 240 stock. Maybe it's got something to it today, but I'm not willing to put it at the top of my list, even if it is not bad on the chart for this level break here.
So I went shopping with some Ether last night, and we were just after dinner here, I was able to get something at 27.70 or something on Ethereum. I don't know the exact price. I'll have to find out what it was, but 27 and change. But it was high. It was like 27.70 something. You're bouncing back to 3,000 now, so that's like picking up $27 stock and then selling it right now at 3,000 or at 30. I wish 3,000, but right there. So that's a nice move back for Ethereum. I still think that we're buying any dips. I didn't get this exact dip there, but I am watching these names. I'm watching Cardano as well here. So I did pick up some Ethereum last night, 2,700. I don't know if it's going to be a great long-term pickup. I think it'll be fine. I don't know if it'll be fine right now, but Ethereum bouncing nicely. As soon as we cracked through that 3,000, I wanted to see how far we went down. We went to just that 26.50, so I did step in, buy a little bit more there. I wonder if we're ever going to retest that 2,000. Well, not ever. We probably do, but I don't know if it's going to happen soon. I'm very, very interested to see what the Fed does today because you can always watch crypto when that comes out. They don't really ever say anything specifically about crypto, but you'll wait to see what they're talking about with tapering and money supply and things like that, and that's should start to get this going. If it's not going to be Ethereum, then it will be BTC. So right now we're looking at that, and I'm just only calling this up, guys, because we are very, very close to breaking through 3,000 again, right? So that could spark something on Coinbase. What Neil just talked about, we have Riot, we have Mara, and just some of the blockchain names. So watch out here as Ethereum approaches 3,000. I'm still very, very bullish, and there goes Marin, man. We're already in the money, 20 cents, and I'm not getting out of this one. I think this one has a big opportunity to run. There it goes, 10.62, so that's 20 cents already right there. Let's see where we go from here. But Marin, we're long, and we'll just see. I think 11. We'll get. Actually, you know what? Because I have a big order to go through 11, we'll get some out at like 10.95 or something like that in case it doesn't get to 11. So that's gonna be my first offer there. Is gonna be 30 cents in the money. Hopefully we get it, and then we'll watch to see what happens at 11. But Marin right now, rocking and rolling. We're in Clover, Lucid, and Marin. Geez, talk about meme stocks.
Here comes another one. SoFi, guys. Let's talk about SoFi. It was Jefferies that came out initiating with a buy. I just realized on the watch list, if you're reading it, I didn't actually put the price target because they put quotations around the conservative word saying that their price target of, and I'll show you it right now, $25 here for Jefferies on the price target for SoFi. They called that conservative, so that was the catalyst for this one so far today, guys. Nice look here for SoFi.
We're just turning to Sean, like everything's going at the same time here because you have, well, not necessarily breaking the highs. I know Marin just broke up, but it's not necessarily at the high. ATR just tested its top. This is 3 times this morning on SoFi at 16 even. And yeah, I mean, the first thing I did when I came and sat down was after yesterday's action when SoFi made that bottom and then ran, the first thing I wanted to do was just throw in a pie in the sky bid on the off chance that it would head to the downside. Of course, it decides to break up. I'm leaving it in because I want to buy 15 to 15.30 if the move comes back downside. The only tricky thing with a 16 break is go back, when in doubt, zoom out. And the last time it got up here, it did fail at 16.15. I'm still taking the break anyways. If anything, I think that it failing through 16.15 might just give you an opportunity to trim some and then look for a dip buy in SoFi. So if you go to the daily chart, this is the reason I like it. We're retesting this level here after a series of higher lows. I would like it for a dip buy just for obvious reasons that we pointed out looking at yesterday's chart. But let's see if it can't be all systems go. There's room to the upside. Even if you go to the fade prices, 17 to 18 here, that's still plenty of runway for you here on SoFi. So let's see if this breakout can come through. There is a bit of an order on the offer. It's not a heck of a lot. It's only about like 10,000 shares or so. And let's see if SoFi can chew through it. I just saw it start to get beaten up, and let's see if it can go. Third time is possibly a charm, although some of this, that retest up here was dark pool dumping. Just so you guys know, a lot of these wicks on the chart at 8 o'clock, if you haven't figured out by now, those are just the dark pool overnight prints that come through. So ignore these volume spikes. It didn't do like 200,000 shares of volume. I just got triggered into the long trade. So Uber and SoFi, I've got to the long side. I'm only short that AEMD. And we haven't gotten to ATR, but that one's getting pretty interesting too.
Yeah, we're getting close to getting out of Marin. And then SoFi, I'm going to wait. I think it's good. I mean, I want to be long 16 as well. I'm in some of these other names, so I'm going to wait for 15.75 or so. Here it goes. So that, I mean, here it goes. Whatever. It's up 3 cents, but it looks like it is taking out that 16. You know, there is. We'll have to find out what the short float is on this. I don't know what it is, but we'll check out with our friends here at Trade Ideas. We'll just open it up, and I'll just do it right live in front of you guys. So new, you go to single stock window here. It comes up. I'm going to type in SoFi, and we're going to see. I'm not worried about the short float. I don't think this is a short float play by any stretch of the imaginations. They don't even have it listed there, but Brendan maybe has the short float. But it's 500 million shares. So, I mean, it's not, that's what I mean. I'm not too worried about where it's going with the short float. But at the same time, I think it can pull back a little bit here. That's a nice move, man. Just tick, 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 tick. That was really the buy down there supporting that 575. So I missed that buy. That was about, 10 minutes ago. So you're up nicely right now. It's only 10 cents in the money. You got to wait to see if this flies because what is this level here? 17.50. So if I can get up to there. So let's see if it does that right now. We're in Clover, we're in Lucid, and we're in Marin. And then look what's happening right now. And I just said this. I mean, I just said this when we were all the way up here, even when Arun was on. I said, you know, we're up nicely here, but I'm still not a buyer. I don't believe in this market. I don't believe in any kind of rally. I think it all gets faded for a little bit. We will be buying, like I said, hand over fist. I'm actually going to be depositing more money into the account very, very soon here because, like I said, we got to have some dry powder to buy some of these flushes. And then hopefully we do get that dramatic market flush right now. And it looks like Facebook right now, Neil just mentioned, starting to go to the downside. Talk about buying something on a flush. Obviously, anything, something's Brendan? Hit here. Yeah, Brendan will come in if he sees something. I don't see anything right now on Facebook, but that's nothing right there. It was holding 250 for a very, very long time. 350. We like this 350 level. Hold. This is the last spot I bought it, and I was, didn't ring the register up here at 380. I'm not going to do that. But right now, Facebook falling down. We'll see what the news is here.
Yeah, I mean, I went right to the daily chart to even look at this. Like, even I call like 335 to 340. I mean, if Facebook gets into that range, it looks interesting. But hey, we're a little bit blind here, and it's probably, I see someone saying the FTC suing them. Okay, there's been a lot. I mean, there's always headlines with concerns. I think you even had. I forget who it was. In the heat of the moment, the name's gonna slip me here. There's always gonna be concerns and criticisms, lobbies at Facebook, but they, for the most part, usually shrug them off. If there's an action coming, we'll get that news to you. But it does seem like, I know you guys are reporting there could be a lawsuit. I think that could be a buying opportunity for Facebook. We'll see how far this move goes, because right now it's just pre-market panic, and when this happens, a lot of times you can jump in early. I like 335 to 340. That stands out on the chart. I mean, it's $5 away from that, so we might not actually get it, but you absolutely never know. It's already traveled 15.
I can show you this one. They're talking about iOS conversions. So they believe they're under-reporting app installs from iOS conversions. I mean, that was 9:15, so a few minutes ago, but that just came out. Not seeing anything regarding a lawsuit as of yet, but I'll keep an eye out for news on FB. Let's talk about Stitch Fix. Yeah, a few more to go here, guys. I'll throw Stitch Fix and Lucid at you as well, both moving around here in the pre-market. Stitch Fix on earnings. I mean, this move in Lucid, if you look at the daily chart, is just enormous.
Yeah, I'm long Facebook here. I'm not going to let this discourage me. We are long 30 cents now in the money, even more now on Facebook, 345.95 right now on Facebook. So, I love this stock. We've talked about this over and over again, and here we go already with a dollar plus win right now on Facebook as it continues to ride upside. Maybe we just take this out, man, and celebrate. Wow, good run up here for FB. But this is old news, man. If that's the iOS news, this is not new news. 349 maybe as an out. I mean, this thing could still flush. Let's just see if we do have this, but we are long Facebook right now into the teeth of this news. So we'll see. Here it is. Yes, sir. Fire off the hot dogs. We may be celebrating 10-cent wins, but how about $2? How about $2 plus right now on FB, ripping that? Just touched 349. We'll look at that right there, but that's a good trade. I mean, thank you for Neil, actually, brought this up because I would have missed it. So good move there for Facebook.
That was a chat, man.
We'll see. Thank you, chat. We'll see what happens with that one. I don't know. We still could lose on it, so whatever. We'll wait on it. But Lucid, okay. So here's Lucid. I've tweeted this out already. How much are we out of the money here? 5, 8, 10 cents right now on Lucid. There's this nice top, $28. That's great. Everything's nice. But I'm just thinking that this move is way overdone here. So, $30 is a psychological level. We'll see if that's going to happen. Lucid's from 20 to 28 in a week. That's a big move. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys that. So let's see what happens right now with Lucid. I'm going to be fading this into 30. And what a good win here for Facebook, man. We're going to take this out very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, all I wrote down this morning when I sat down was double top 28. It's getting close to that right now. I like that 930 kind of pop and fade action. ATR is giving you a similar thing. Just to get to Stitch Fix here, the volume is absolutely, it's not gigantic. For a name that's up 11% on actually quite a fantastic print and great earnings for them, you're going to look at this 45 that it's going to trail well a ways away from, especially pulling back in the aftermarket before that resistance level. That's going to give it some runway. If this wants to fall back in and give you something like a 37 to 38, that looks like not a bad bottom. I feel like that's the kind of thing where it's getting off the hump here. It's breaking through a bottom capitulation. At least it looks like through 35. If it can hold 37, 38, that's a good sign. Still, obviously trending to the downside, but it's a good start for Stitch Fix, which hasn't really broken out until it gets through 45. I'd look 37, 38 support on that particular name there. And there was a super chat earlier this morning, and I think I might have mentioned NNVC, but Brendan, that was wild yesterday through that halt. I know you want to talk about this name.
Yeah, worth mentioning, guys, real quick here. We're getting close. NNBC, everybody knows what happened yesterday. This is 7, that spike high late in the day. 7, which was support after the halt before it broke back to the downside. So to the upside, watch 7. If we get a push this way, 7 will be key. Otherwise, 6 to 580 brings some of these support levels into play. Also from the pre-market here, gets below 580, we probably see much lower prices for NNBC.
Well, the only problem here with this Facebook trade, as I see it, and I don't see really too many problems, we are waiting here at almost at 349. So we'll see if we get a bump up here off the open. I mean, I'm just debating, maybe I should just take this out right now, and then I don't have to worry about anything here in the open. But we'll see what we can do here. It's starting to go a little bit more. One little bump up, and we should be able to get up. We can look at that, though. Like, it was just 348.50, and then all of a sudden it goes down to 347.90 there. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. So what I was going to say here about Facebook is I think we got a nice bottom here. But, if this market continues to go down, which I am, bearish on the market, you've heard me say that over and over again, then Facebook probably just falls with the market risk, right? Let alone single stock risk here. So, yeah, this 348 keeps on bouncing. I think this might be a good spot here to debate getting. So, well, not just to debate. I'm going to get some out here. If we go up to 348 again, we'll get some out just above 348 and see if we can't capture that smooth $2 right now on Facebook. Like I said, I am nervous right there about the market. So we are getting a nice little bump up here. That could have been what sparked some of this Facebook rally back to the upside. So yeah, right now it's not great, but we're going to have to wait on it. With only a minute to go here, I think we should probably have Robbie on the bell because he's coming back.
It would make some sense to me.
It would make some sense to me. So hopefully we could see that. Rob was missed, man. He might not think that, but we talked about you almost every day. Some days positively. No, most days positively. Yeah, it's great. Look, it's always great to have the team back. So here we go. Let's get ready, man. Less than a minute left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love getting breaks at this particular time, like right 1 minute before the open. Usually, a lot of times it can be a little bit disastrous, but 235 just broke on FedEx, so I'm into this one. I got 34.83, and the thing with this trade is you're not really wrong till it breaks 38, so there is like $3 worth of risk in it. Someone asked what I'm doing with SoFi. It's very similar to, with only 30 seconds to go, very, very similar to the Uber. My initial stop at 9:30 is going to be really tight at that 15.8 level, so if it goes through there, I will re-hunt for a better price. You can hear Trader Pratt is even excited in the background. I just heard him to see Rob come back in, but wow, FedEx just came in. Of course, they reported earnings, and it was a big miss. They got concerns over supply. They got concerns over costs, so we'll see what happens with that one. 7% to the downside. Rob is back from his vacation. He looks very energized.
He's got his jacket on.
Is it that cold in here? 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
All right. Let's go. Yeah, so this should be a good day for us. Let's just see what happens here. There's SoFi right now. Oh, wow. Went all the way down, Neil. SoFi there. Nice win right there. We'll go bang for Facebook as we take that $2 clean right there at 348. We talked about that. It's gonna turn out to be a bad trade probably because now it's at 350, but we'll take that all day long right there. So a nice win. Bang, bang, bang. We were waiting for 349, but we did change our mind there. A little nervous about this happening, which looks like the market's gonna turn red very, very soon. And that was another thing that we called out for you too. So hopefully, wow, good long on Facebook, man. Wish I would have gone in there and bought more down at that low side, but that's a big win for me. SoFi as well, pumping to the upside. Let's go, man. Those pins lined up for SoFi. So they're 15.75. Let's see what we go now. Now make that run to 17.50, my friend. Let's go, SoFi.
Yeah, just getting my orders locked and loaded. I want to get a bid in front of 230 on FedEx as it continues to fall down. We're about $1.50 in the money, but it broke that 234 level from the daily chart, and that's a big one here. And I want to make sure that if it does stall out in front of 230, I capture a little bit of profit out. That AEMD is also falling like a rock. I got wicked out of SoFi, and then it held 75s, and I'm like, yeah, if it's only going to go like 5 cents, I'm going to take it right back into the upside. So we'll go drop some cash. FedEx, I think there's going to be a buying opportunity on FedEx. I just didn't necessarily think it was going to be today, but if it hits 220, yeah, I think that I'll be out of the short if it gets to 220. I think that's a buying opportunity at some point there. I wanted to come to one name, and apologies for not getting to it. I'm on the hunt for Fubo TV. It's not doing volume, but if it breaks 25.80, that's going to be a good long-term buy, I do think, at some point. And then that Lucid got into it. It then ticked up, got through that 28 level, stalled out at 25s. I wanted to give this some room, but I'm covering this at the 28 quarter. This stock has been way too crazy to the upside to sort of hang on for dear life in front of that 28 level. I don't want to risk more than like 40 or 50 cents on it. So if it breaks quarters, I'm out of Lucid and we'll just quickly take that hit. I mentioned that AEMD as well, which I've been short in all morning long. I already covered a bunch of this at 470, then loaded back into the position, and then covered in front of 480 again. If this breaks 520, I am off. I'm out of this stock, and we'll take the win already.
Okay, good one. Yeah, so we average into Lucid right there. So let's see what happens now coming back to the downside. Wow, what a monster win right now for us on SoFi, man. Yeah, we're just hitting this one to the upside. Big win. We're going to get some off here at 98 if we can. We picked that. And again, if you read that, I don't know if you guys have the sticky note up or not. I'll find it for you right now. But again, sometimes it's just the key levels, right, that matter. So right down there, SoFi, we talked about it back down to 1550. We take that 1575, a little bit ahead of that. So we expected a little bit of a dip buy, and we did talk about that. So lucky to get the dip buy for sure. And there's an out right there at 98. That's 20 cents right there. Look at Lucid. Let's go, Lucid. Spin this one on a beautiful average in right there on this. Let's see if we get out some 55s. There it is. Bang, bang, bang. Man, the money is coming in today, boys and girls. Maureen trying to go, not going. So that's the one name right now that is failing back down to 950. But wow, what a monster day. Let's go, Lucid. What's up, Brendan?
Uber, guys, big move here again. 2% now for Uber. Held 45 there. Initial spike down on the open, but right back to highs for Uber.
And of course, Uber, we had a little bit of that one, and then we got wicked out of this one. And again, I still think it has room to run, but it still can get back down in this 45 range. If 45.50 wants to go, you got plenty of runway. I'm holding on to that FedEx. It did dip off 31, so that first exit was definitely a good one. And then Lucid, to me, remember what we always talk about? Allow it to come back down before you get into more shares. That's usually the approach that I'm going to go with. Oh, come on, chart. Don't do this to me. Lucid goes up through that 28 level. It's not until it rejects the stop order that I get back into some more shares. That's a preferred approach for me, but it's been up so many days in a row. You've got to look back to 26.50. If it's going to hold the level, it's probably in front of 26.50. Didn't think it would come this fast, but here we are looking to break that 27 level. So Lucid, that double top. I mean, it stuck out like a bit of a sore thumb there. And I am in that AMD, but I want to go over very, very quickly that FedEx just because it feels like with the market heading to the downside, FedEx, which no, I don't think anybody has a worse catalyst than them. Of course, we had the Facebook news coming in late, but it has broken that key level on the daily chart. I think the next support down is sitting right around that 220 level. Like I said, it feels like a buying opportunity if the stock gets to that point. I don't expect to still be in it. Once it breaks 230, I'm going to start to look to trail this, and then every couple of dollars it takes, move that trailing stop. The only long that's worked is so far been SoFi and Uber for obvious reasons. Everything else, hold on to your shorts because the market's fallen.
Yeah, exactly. Just as we predicted with this market, guys. No worse for the wear today. With AMC, we just took that bid like we said we would around 38. So I want to see what happens at this 37.50 level. So it's coming in faster than we had hoped for, but we'll see where it goes from here. We are long AMC into that, and then I mean this. We just got out of some Lucid. They're at 27 even, guys. 27.03 was actually the call right there. SoFi, like Neil's talking about, SoFi working, and hell yeah, SoFi's working right now. We're gonna get some out at 16 now, 16.16. There it is. Like this is 40 cents in the money now for this name. As I just made sure I didn't hit the coffee there because there isn't one. Valeria's gonna go grab that. Right now, Lucid, here it comes cracking down. Like this is exactly, and you know, like I was saying, when you believe in that trade, this is what happens. And you know, you got to take this trade back up here. I liked it. I had more waiting on the upside. So let's just continue to cash in. We still are holding a decent amount of this trade here on Lucid. So we can have a couple more bullets to get out. This is a decent level to get out right here where we had some stop and goes yesterday. So let's take that out right now for another monster win here on Lucid, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, to me, it's the key level's at 26.50. I think that's the next bounce point. It's going to come in. Thank you, Ms. V. We talked about, Brendan mentioned Workhorse to us, and it just flushed off the open as well. I don't want to ignore it, of course. It did drop almost a full dollar, actually more than a full dollar pre-market, and then try to get back up to 7.75. I'd look to be a fader at 7.50. Things are getting pretty ugly for FedEx now as it continues to crack into the downsides. We're now approaching that 230 level I just mentioned. It's on the New York Neil. Sorry, it just broke that 230 level. From the time it took me to type in the symbol, it broke 230. It broke that 230 after approaching it. Like I said, 220 is the absolute bottom. Going to start thinking about a trail. It has to hold an offer below 230 a little bit longer than it has. I haven't traded this yet today, but it's getting very close to that 950 dip buy that I wanted. So it's close enough as it gets to the downside that I kind of want to be shooting bottom. And when I say shooting bottom, letting it travel into the range and then looking for some buy action as opposed to just sitting on the bid in front of it. But Marin looks like it's starting to go. Sound
issues. Rob is back.
What happened?
Yeah, okay, so we'll get that all fixed out. Apparently there is some sound issues. So I don't know, let us know if you're not hearing us anymore. So that might have just been a hiccup right there. We're going to get out of some more SoFi. Wow. We'll go with this one. Right there, because that's a monster win. I mean, SoFi is just up and away right now. I mean, some of these calls we have today, Lucid, $1.50 in the money right now. SoFi, 50 cents in the money right now. AMC starting to rip and run right now, back to the highs. Let's go AMC. Let's see if we can go. We averaged it on that one. You see that? It was a good trade for me. We'll take a piece out right now. We didn't even notice that. We were too busy hitting the bangs on everything else. As AMC now 25 cents in the money. Wow, what kind of a day is this exactly? Facebook, big $2 winner already. We are just like right now, man, this is a backflip central. This is back-to-back days that we're doing this. Let's go, Lucid, $1.50, SoFi, 50 cents. The only problem is right now is Marin, as we are right back down to this 950 area. This is gonna be a problem for them. We are loaded up. My average price on Marin, $9.95, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just got my dip buy. We talked about $9.50 for the dip. I talked about $12 to the upside where I would have shorted it, and I didn't like anything in the middle. We're playing to the low end of the range. Once it gets above 10 even, I'm looking at this cluster 10.20 to 10.40 for the first exit point. So I wanted to travel in there and then see if we can get a little bit out there. I got out of my Lucid. We covered it in front of 26.50, so we'll do this one for that trade. But hang on to just about everything else. That AMD on the watch list, I came right back into support. And every time there's an obvious re-entry into the same short position in front of 520, I'm going to cover a bunch in front of that same level. So if it jumps back up, I'll short 5 to 520 like I've done here for the third time, but I never like it as much the third time I'm shorting a level. That kind of seems like an obvious point. Here comes MRIN, finally getting into the upside, very, very close to taking into that 10. As I say it, it was at 17 when I said it. It just pulled back into 10. So I feel like there's some sellers gaining control of Marin. So I have to be careful with this.
Marin's like one of my #1 stocks right now. We got 975s there, guys, and that was my largest bid, 975. So I mean, now we're just cash. I missed that 10-15 bid. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. But we'll wait for that one. SoFi still 55 cents. Marin only 20 cents right now. But look at Lucid, just continues its move to the downside. This is exactly what we're talking about. We talked about the market going red, so we're trying to hold on to these shorts. But look at this, man. You want to talk about holding on to shorts? What about going long? What up, Ape Nation? What's up, guys? Hopefully you're doing well, because we sure as hell are right now as we continue to rock and roll here with AMC. Just another out right there at 25. Let's just keep getting out on the way up. I mean, there's another 30 out right there, 29 out, now 30, 31, 32. This is a 40-cent win right here. Lucid $1.70 in the money. We're basically out of Lucid right now. Why are we out of Lucid? If you just look back here, we're into these levels right now. So we're out of Lucid. We have a very, very small position. We'll hold it to see what happens to the downside, but bang, 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 bang. That was about as easy as it gets for me there anyways. AMC is a little trickier. We did have to defend that 37.50 level that we talked about all morning long if you watched us, so that was good. And then again, SoFi, I mean, so good right now for SoFi as it just continues to make marches to the upside. We're going to do a little Street Fighter action today, and knock on wood, but we don't even have to trade anymore. This is it right there, perfect so far today. Let's just see if we can keep it going. Wow, AMC 30. Look at AMC 38.50. AMC. Hello, what up, beat?
One of the little Chinese education companies here, GOTU, just popping up on a volume scanner, ripping to the upside, guys. 7% for GOTU.
I want to get to you guys in the chat are talking about Robinhood here. If you want to find relative strength in the market, we're down and about to crack to negative territory, very close to it on the NASDAQ. But Robinhood is up 5% here, spiking to the upside. It actually finally broke that 43-ish level here that they've been putting in the last couple of weeks. Watch out 45. Someone said, where would you short this thing on the market, overall market weakness? I'd be looking at the lower high at around 45. It's getting very, very close to it here. But Robinhood making some waves to the upside. Like someone just said, FedEx reloaded it. I have not reloaded FedEx. I just have the one entry on the breakdown at 235. It is consolidating, and it might give a re-entry. If this comes back into like 230, call it like 233, 34. That's where I would like to be able to get in. I'm already bidding in front of 220 just in case it absolutely flushes. Now that we've put in a low on that 230 level, you got a bottom of about $1 lower. You have a $2 range here that it's put in. If it breaks this $2 range to the downside at 229, that'll give me a reason to put a trailing stop. And otherwise, let's just hold on for dear life. I've taken Marin to the long side. I haven't covered anything. That's a pretty good point. It's well in front of that 950 level, so I'm not adding to it unless it's actually closer to 950, and I'm not covering it until it starts breaking and holding above that 10 even level. So this one still has to settle itself down before I can make any determination as to where this is going to go next. And then SoFi is a bit of a different story because that is only going to that upside. I do like the opportunity for a dip buy around this 16 area. You might even have to give it to like a 15.9, but might have looked a gift horse in the mouth as that turned around off of 16.50. There is nothing obvious about that 16.50 level. SoFi, at least in terms of resistance, should have some clean sailing up until 17 even. So it feels like just a bit of a pullback here that might give you a chance to buy the dip.
I mean, look at Lucid right now, guys. We are like 25.80 right now to the downside. These were all, every single stock I have right now. I mean, AMC we talked about, and AMC is $1 in the money right now. We say we'll give a big cheer for the apes out there that's still winning this bet for today. Anyways, you could see this move was just a huge move down for Lucid. We expected this, and everything that we're talking about today is on our sticky note. Okay, so 38, we are getting into some support or some resistance, I guess, here. Around 38.80, 38.90, something like that. So we're going to take one more piece off here of AMC right now. So we'll take a little piece off there at 73, 72, 73, and then we'll see where we go. But we are getting very, very light now on AMC. This has just been such a monster day for me right now that we're just going to try to pair off a lot of these trades, man. Marin, we're actually out. It's getting right near that 950. This is where we loaded up the first time, but then we cashed out of 75% of our trade up here at $10. So watch out for 950 on Marin. AMC still running. What's up, Beep?
Another one in the software group, pretty small here, B Square. This one's popped up many times before. I was just checking, 48 million on the market cap. But B Square, another software name up here this morning, guys, trying to go back towards day highs on volume.
Definitely worth looking. Getting very close to getting a possible reload in FTX or FedEx. I want to get to very quickly. I'll mention this HLBZ because it's been in play the last couple of days. It is continuing to absolutely die. This was, if you're still stuck in this and you have a chance to take profit, it might be a good idea to do so. If it shows any strength, this is previous highs that it just broke through at 26 even. If it comes back into that range, and I can see it as reasonable locates, which they were yesterday, this could be a short off of both yesterday's low, a previous high, and this is absolutely flushing on low volume. When the volume's gone in these, they are absolutely dead. Speaking of that, NNBC here. And again, with the exception of Marin, everything is sort of sitting in the money and managing those positions. So I want to get to something that's moving here because NNBC, I shorted it and got stopped out this morning, only to see it now flush, just like we said, just like we showed with HBLZ, through a previous high or to a previous high and yesterday's afternoon support. So very, very key level coming at 560. If it wants to pop, I would be shorting anything in that 6 to 625 range, but it has yet to show any kind of a bid here on NNBC.
Okay, so we just covered Lucid with probably my best trade of the month, probably. So we'll say, wow, a big fail there at $28. And then just, and the reason why I say this is the best trade is because I averaged in, and we averaged in, and we believed in the trade. And, that's just what happened there. So this was a light position. So not going to, we weren't going to ever celebrate that. We let it go all the way up against us, and it ticks exactly to where we wanted it to. I actually had more shares sitting here at 25. So, that was a missed opportunity. We could have got more, but there it is all the way to the downside. We'll finish that trade off right now. Another trade, this could be another one of my better trades this month, to be honest with you. One was a short, one was a long, and I think that's the benefit. Wow, what's ripping here? Wow, AMC continues to be, AMC, guys. Let's hit a home run right now on AMC. Feeling like Vladdy right now. 37.80, guys. The bottom, we have the bottom tick of the day. Now you're up to 39.25. Like, I'm looking at my net and it's like, wow, this is just blowing up right now. Oh, shoot. Facebook, I didn't even realize I had this bid. Facebook right now down to 34.49. We're going to get out of this one, but we didn't realize we had that bid as Facebook just got cracked again right here. So we're going to get out of this one. Did not mean to have this. What's up, V?
Hey, Sean, Chinese penny stock WIMI is up around 26%. Could you guys take a look at WIMI for us?
WIMI?
So we have no shorts on Robinhood as it's approaching that's 45 level. So I'm just trying to quickly make sure I can load those ones up there. And I am actually looking to get a dip buy on Facebook down around 340, which we did mention. So a lot is happening. I'll add that to my list, and we'll have to come back to it because if it's a new symbol, I just don't want to spew any nonsense. I want to be able to call it up and have a quick look at it. And right now, I am trying to get a reload in FedEx here up at VWAP. I'm also hunting at Facebook, which is looking like it's dipping down into the bottom. And I was just able to get the shorts that I processed there for myself on Robinhood, which is right at that 45 level, guys. So a lot certainly happening, and we will get to that name. But it's a live trading show. So I say apologies, but I can't even apologize for that. You come here because it's a live trading show, and the trading is active right now.
Active. Hell yeah, it's active. And because it's a live trading show there, I did have my bid. It's my bad. I mean, you can't just keep your bids there. But we just had like 4 trades back and forth there on Facebook, roughly flatting everything out. But still, look what else is happening right now, guys, by the way. I mean, I don't even know like what kind of a day this is turning out to be because look at Clover, man. I mean, this is another bid we just got. We got 780 bid there. It goes down to 775. We waited just in here on the pre-market levels, and then it rips right back up to VWAP, and we're taking it out again. So there it is right there. More money, more problems. Marin, though, that's the one that's failed for us. We talked about 950. It cracks down to 950, and we get out. Marin is going to be a loser for us. There's no doubt about that. But, I mean, I didn't even notice that it was going down. That's how irrelevant it was. But what's up, Brendo?
Another software name, guys, starting to go here. ARQQ, recent runner as well. Already halted a couple of times here this morning. We tagged 36 at the top for that ARKit Quantum, ARQQ.
So, I mean, I just missed getting Robinhood by a matter of pennies there, but I did reload in FedEx. And I can't believe, oh man, I cannot believe that ARQQ is going to go again. We like this one. I'm probably going to have to go ahead and pay for locates because I love halt trades. You guys know that. And it broke through this 33 top. It stalled out. This is already a failed breakout through 35 on multiple halts, as long as it doesn't extend one more time. And I'd look to see if it tests that 35 again. But I got to quickly see if we can't pay for some shorts as well. Just to give you guys an update on FedEx, I did reload. This is going to seem random. On the 1 minute, this is around where VWAP was. So I take some shares on the lower end of the range. 232 is going to be the bottom. I'm going to scalp some out in front of 229 because that's a support range that it put in, but I'm still looking for that 230 level. The market is bouncing. We've held positive. We've held 15 on the NASDAQ, but keep in mind, this is not a great report that FedEx came in with lots of concerns. So I want to stay to the short end of this until I'm definitively proven wrong, which just hasn't happened yet.
Like $1.70 now? You roll the dice with AMC and sometimes it comes up the way you need it to be. Wow, this is just a monster right now. Like bids. I mean, we've been long and short today on various names. So AMC just off of yesterday's bottom. We tweeted it out. We mentioned that that's what we were doing. And then there's a big win there for AMC. So, so far so good on that one. I did want to look quickly here. That's the 1 day. That's the 1 day. What is this, the 20-minute? No, I didn't even want that. We're trying to find out some areas here of where we may stop on AMC. What about 39.65 or so? That's kind of where we just went up to. 39.50 is probably a decent out spot for us on AMC, but a good runner so far. Clover's starting to go, man, and I mean, how good is SoFi right now as well? Pigs get slaughtered here every day on the market, so we took some out early, 16, but SoFi's still ripping and rocking right now. SoFi 70 cents in the money. Clover now, hell yeah. Clover now 14 cents in the money right there. AMC $1.50 in the money. We just took out our Lucid, which was a great out right there, 26.20. We should have reversed long, believe it or not. And then Facebook, it was a mistake. We were sitting there. We wanted to average into this trade. I'm sure as hell glad now that I took that $2 right there. But this was, I guess, it's probably going to show me, I don't know what it shows up or down there, but we gave back some right there. But it doesn't matter. We're still up on Facebook. As this continuing to slide, I'm gonna have to reevaluate my Facebook stance here, guys, because I love Facebook, but down 4% here is not something that we're going to like. So let's hear what Zuckerberg, et cetera, have to say about this new planning and the way that iOS is going to be hiding data and things like that, so that Facebook can't target as well as they used to. Look at Clover though, taking out $8. Let's go Clover. Big win here. We're going to start getting more out right now.
Just a question someone asking about like Lucid, was it worth a reload on the short? I still think it's a little bit far away from me wanting the reload. I'd probably look at this, like it pulled back off 26.90 right into like 27.20. So it tried to like break through 27 even. It was a fail break for initially, bounced back up into the 20 range and then came back down. So I'd be looking for a reload a little bit closer to that price if I was able to get it. And it doesn't mean you can't still stick with the short here. I just like to structure my trades, and if I don't have a structure to the end, then I'm simply not going to take it. It looks like I just missed Facebook. I was waiting down, as I said, in front of 41s. It's bounced off of 42. I'd hate for this to be the bottom, but I did think it would be between that 35 and 40 level. Didn't quite get there, which could be a sign that obviously some people rushing to buy into some Facebook. Brendan, what's up?
More vaccine-related news, guys. Dynavax popped up in the pre-market. They were talking about more data suggesting boosters are a good idea and that theirs was very, very effective on a third shot. So DVAX, 20%, just took out day highs there. Big volume on DVAX today.
You know what? I'm just going to end this trade. There it is. So we'll end that trade right now on that. We'll hit the cowbell for it. And it was a good one, man. Watch out. Oh, and now it's going right back to the upside, but that's okay. Watch out for your screens. Okay, as we right now just take Facebook. Well, we took Facebook for a ride too. We'll get out of our AMC here as it's battling around that 39.50. And again, I just kind of did, I can't do this work on the bottom there and then not do that work on the top. So, I mean, we're right at this level. We just took a buck. What was that? $1.60 there on AMC. So pretty happy with that out right now. Whether or not it bounces around here, I'm not sure what it's going to do, but I can't hold. I mean, I could hold this forever, but I'm not going to. A big move up, man. We're just capping our day off. It's only 9:53 right now, and we're loving what's happening here today. So so far so good. Clover, we're getting out, man. I mean, we are out of 60 or 70% up here. As soon as we broke through VWAP, that's a big indicator for me. So we started getting out, especially when we're up near 8. We did have our first trade right there. Every single trade that you're going to see me make in the pre-market is going to be, let's just say about 10% of the fills that, maybe a little bit more depending on the stock. Clover, I'll find out for you about this one, but this is probably maybe 20, 25% of the shares that will actually take once the market's open, right? So that's why you're going to see some better average prices for me all the time once we get involved, and hopefully they just continue to rock and roll. That Marin though, wow. Wow is all I can say about this one. Yeah, that 950. And again, on the sticky note, we talked about using 950 as a breaking spot to go short. Unfortunately, we were loving the long too much, and we made a lot of money on the long, but then Marin does fall back down there, and we do get, not crushed, but we do take a hit on Marin as it does wind up breaking because the 76 didn't hold, and then neither did the 66. So we wind up getting out there right at 50 flat, which is a big save because right now we're down to $9. We'll try to pick up some Marin, but it's not going to be now.
Yeah, I got to find, I don't have a level yet to even think about buying a dip on that stock just yet. But and speaking about dips, yes, Cassava Sciences did that thing that it always does where it gives just about everything back. And I said, if you're going to take a shot at long in the stock, forget about any dip that isn't everything, was kind of what I was saying there. So I'll stick to that plan. It's now at 53, so what goes up must come down on Cassava Sciences. I want it to settle. If it does some consolidation, then I'll look for an entry point to the long where I can have a more defined out. As I said, I'm holding on to that FedEx. And the market is bouncing here, right? So we're back to a quarter, or at least close to 0.25% to the upside. And that's going to give me, the only thing you'll see me in the short, because I missed out on the opportunity to quickly get the shorts on Robinhood. We're barcoding on FedEx here around that 232. My price will be 33s because I still have some left over from the 35 breakdown to the short side. I'm bidding in front of this cluster like I mentioned. I still think 220 is an absolute target. I've now put an offer in to cover SoFi in front of the current high of the day. It's just to already tip to 1650 one time and pull back a little bit. If it does come in, I'll try to take it out here, then look for a consolidation break, maybe a little bit later on this.
I just want to say something about that because, and it's congratulations to you because I do this all the time as well, where you get that wick and then now, I just noticed, and we don't talk about each other's
I was so mad at myself.
Right, we don't talk about nets or how much we're making or anything like that, but you know, that reversal puts you positive on SoFi. And that's I talk about that for myself all the time, and I love that play right there because I get stopped out, and then if you believe in the trade, like we do often, you got to stick with your guns. And
the other sign of it is, remember, like when this happens, I told you guys my stop was
right every single time.
I told you guys my stop was going to be at 1580. Right. I'm now flat on the stock. I just got out of it, by the way.
Perfect.
But this 1580 was going to be my stop. But when it wicks down and holds the pre-market low, that's a failed break. And if you know one thing about failed breaks, whether it's shorting them when it breaks to the upside, or whether it's going long on a capitulation bottom, the idea should be, if it's a failed break, that just triggered a bunch of stops. And it's easier to make this play, admittedly, if you're one of the stops that was triggered. But if you see it happen, it's a wick bottom, you get back in, and when it retakes that level, and then bingo, bango, bongo, you've got yourself a winning trade. Now, it's not that I don't believe SoFi can go higher. I just feel like with the market trying to bounce back in what I thought was going to be a negative day, there could be a consolidation, and then you get a 1650 break. So I'm going to bank my profit because I don't like looking gift horses in the mouth. Stick with the one thing that I did want to hold as long as I could, which is FedEx. When I came in today, but the only thing that I was pretty sure about holding on to till the cows come home was a FedEx short, and that's what we're into right now. Things could change on Cassava Sciences, but it barcoded so long yesterday, right? Like, if you look at this, it spent the entirety of the day between 50 and this 53 level, which is now the bottom. And I think that's why if it consolidates above 53, you suddenly were able to structure a long trade, which usually isn't the case in Saba, in my opinion. around this 53 area with a $3 stop that even the VWAP gets you 2-to-1. Right, so that's what I kind of like about it here, but I'm not at the point of confidence in buying Cassava Sciences. If it was a short, I'd probably already be in it on this setup, quite frankly, but Sava, I need a little bit more conviction. Maybe if it just bounces down, tests 53, and then shows some strength, that'll give me the, I guess, the extra push to go into this long. But it's starting to set up here in Sava. Brendo.
I just saw ACB, guys, some cannabis news here. Aurora Cannabis shutting down a facility in Edmonton. Apparently they have one very, very close to this one that they're going to just shift everything over to the adjacent facility. So it was down initially on that news, but just popped up through day highs there for ACB.
Yeah, the cannabis names always moving around. You said day high? Oh yeah, I guess they're shutting places down. That makes sense. Save on some of that cash there. We'll look at it in a minute. I just want to talk about this Lucid trade here because, and again, you know, this is where we got out. It was absolutely a fantastic trade all the way to the downside. Our first initial our biggest out. You know, candidly, was right here, 26.75. And when we had that about $1.50 in the money, and we were right into where I thought was going to be a problem, which it turns out to be a problem, we would get that, and then we were like, oh my God, we're going to take that, and then we only had, like I said, that 10% or so left. It was actually a little bit more than 10%. Each one of these, about 20%. No, we had about 10% because, like I said, or maybe even less. Like I said, most of it was taken out right here. But right there, that was a good bid out. And the reason why, we were just sort of looking down here. Not only that, it took 26, and then when it took it back again, I didn't want to get out right away, but I wanted to use some of these as some bottoms. It just would have been a good trigger there to go long. I see people in the chat screaming at me. Look, what we miss on Palantir on the show, believe me, guys, we are definitely catching it in our account. So right now we'll ride on the Vespa here and we'll go see Aunt Kathy because, yeah, hey, Aunt Kathy, what's up? Thank you for paying for the Vespa because Palantir, and it's, I mean, again, she's been great at picking some of these stocks. We talked about Palantir, and welcome to the show. We talked about Palantir at $9 down here. So I was waiting for this stock to IPO. I bought this on IPO. I bought it again at 11 on this break. And then it's been nothing but love to the upside. I'm still waiting to get more. I mean, I really haven't bought more. I did buy more in here. I think it was 22.50, 23. You guys all knew that when we called 28 top. But we did sell some around 26 and change right in here. So we're not as long as we were on Palantir. And I tweeted it out when we did this, and we bought more PaySafe, like as if that's working out. Like, how's that working? But 26.17 right there. Anyways, I'm looking at 30 break here on Palantir. For the day trade, though, on PLTR, yeah, we missed that early flush. I mean, you see the NASDAQ flushing down. You see Palantir got flushed basically right off the open. That's a missed opportunity. I'm not going to buy it up high here. I don't have good feels for the market. I mean, I have good feels for the market. I don't have a bullish side right now. So if Palantir can fall back into this consolidation, then we'll buy some like 26.90. But until then, I'm going to be hands off on that one.
And I've been hands off on this ARC, ARQQ, I should say. I don't want to say, if I say ARC, you guys get it confused with the actual ARC. So I know it looks like ARC is a symbol. There's only been one halt, and it's crazy to me because I would have thought that if it continued to the upside, there'd be a parabolic move into 40, and that's what I would be looking for the short. But I did just pay for the locates on this name, and it's putting in a bit of a lower high here. You want to tread lightly, but above 33, you've got it, and that's the whole price initially to the upside. Above that price, you have to still feel that it can put another jailbreak into that upside. And then at this particular point, when you don't have any levels to work off of, and you know you've got a low float possible runner, I'm only looking for those obvious 40 levels where I would get in front of, or I'm looking for a halt trade or capitulation through that 33 even. On the other side, ATER has already started to come back in. Of course, that's on the NASDAQ, Neil. ATER just put in, I want to say it was kind of like a double top, but it did break out this 1550 and then gave a bit of an opportunity to go short at 1525. But watch how it's held up. This opening range holds the higher low at 1450. And as long as that's in play, I mean, the bulls are still going to be in control here with the potential to break back above that 1550. I will be trying my hand at a short if it goes and tests and fails at 1550. If it doesn't get through that 65 top, I will try shorting it, but be very, very cautious with it. And again, FedEx, I will cover some at 229. That doesn't change my ultimate target at 220. Brendan is already there at the big screen because it's past 10 o'clock. So let's see what's happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, North American markets back in positive territory. Nice looking board for everything here. The Dow, full percent to the upside right now. The S&P 0.8. You can see the NASDAQ lagging ever so slightly, but still 0.5%, better part of 0.6 there to the upside. The Russell as well, I noticed right out of the gate, small caps a little bit stronger than the rest so far today. Here in Toronto, about a full percent as well for the TSX. Couple of things we were looking at in the pre-market. Yeah, FedEx can't get out of its own way. Look at the volume compared to just the end of the day yesterday, but massive selling came in there on the open for FedEx continuing. We mentioned Coinbase as well. If you missed it, they came out yesterday saying they're not going to come out with that crypto-based lending platform. So really not much of a response here. Volume is decent, though, trying to hold these highs from yesterday on coin, guys. Back over to you.
And a couple of things. I took a quick look at Bros because I forgot about Dutch Brothers, which has been a hot stock. This is whippy action. I'm glad I sat this one out at the open. But worth noting, it's held this 54, which is a bottom in the afternoon. And yesterday, like twice at 1 o'clock, and then at the close, you had a 54 bottom on Dutch Brothers. If that were to break, I think you've got some smooth sailing into like that 50 level. And then watch the lower high that it put in at 58. That is a wick top if I've ever seen it. That's on the 15-minute. It looks a little bit more clean because it was a little bit up and down through that level, but 58 looks like some resistance on Dutch Brothers. And the market just got to 15.1, almost 0.5% to the upside. And this is why I was patient with Cassava Sciences. Yeah, there was no actual test and hold at 53, but we are into that 50 to 53 barcode range from yesterday's action. If it catches a bid, I will take a shot at it to the long side. And speaking of longs, SoFi, I'm now looking to buy the dip on this name. We already saw what happened the first time it whipped through that 1580. If it's still going to remain bullish, I think it needs to hold and not break that level this time. I'm going to get in front of it to see if we can't get back into the SoFi run, which has been ongoing. You want to find that relative strength. I mean, the overall market is up 0.5%, but not everything is in Greensville. Facebook has come back in. I am now canceling my 41 bid. That bounced close enough and got back up to VWAP there that, it feels like 42 was a bounce, not 41. So I might have missed the opportunity. It's still in a bit of a downward trend. You'd love to see this consolidate. With the market coming back up, if this can consolidate, there could be a move coming in Facebook. But I just have my FedEx looking for that ARC, looking for that looking for that ARQQ, and then looking for that Sava trade. You got to be very careful going long in Cassava Sciences. That is not the strongest stock in the world if you ever look at the daily chart.
And if you haven't looked at the daily chart, please do that for Cassava Sciences because it's a very dangerous name. And it's a great name to day trade. It's just, those levels can crack pretty easily. So AMD right now, it did take out this 103.50. We had missed that. So this was on our sticky note as well. It did take it out, but you could see it only went to 103.80. The problem is it started, like when I was building, again, I got to look back at some of these notes, and it is hard for us to do this because I had no idea, in the open here that AMD would fall. I was looking at this when it was at 103.30 up here. I should have had some bids down here. This is the level. Like when you see this kind of action on a daily basis and you only have to go back one day, like this is something that you need to look at. I mean, I don't think we would have even gotten taken out. Like if we bid here 102.50 today, our out would have had to have been down here at 102, right? It's a $100 name. You got to give it 50 cents for sure. And that would have been golden because now you're up to this upside here. So let's see if AMD falls back down. This one's on me. Missed opportunity. Obviously, we would love to put some more money in our pocket here, but we don't have that opportunity because we didn't trade that AMD call. Damn you, Facebook. I mean, it's really good that it's coming back. I'm not able to buy anymore. We can't sit here and buy stock when we're on the show, but I do want to, get into some Facebook, and I want to get into it like sooner rather than later. So that's a call, hopefully, that I can make and get out of. If we can get this at 340, I think that's great. I want to see if there's any downgrades coming, what people think about this for them. But, again, good trade early when that news first came out. We took that first $2. Now it's starting to fade back in. Let's see. On my computer, I just got disconnected from internet. That's
not good.
That's not good. So we'll watch to see what's happening there. A little note just came up. They're like, what is going on? Microsoft back to 297. Yeah, again, another one. Like a lot of these, you know what? We may be wrong here, and it wouldn't be the first time, that the market might have bottomed already. Some of these names, Microsoft.
It is a Fed day.
It is.
That was my cautionary thing.
Yeah, but I'm not even, what does that even mean? Fed has done nothing recently. Is that what's sparking this? Like, does somebody have an insight that the Fed is going to once again do nothing?
Evergrande paid a bill. Apparently, we like it.
But did they though? I mean, I don't even know. Like, where's the receipt?
They're going to. That's the thing. It's actually
the Chinese government said
that they're going to pay tomorrow. That's actually the story. Is that they're going to pay tomorrow. I don't even think they haven't actually paid that box.
They ain't paid nothing. So. I don't think they're going to pay anything either. But the thing about it is, you don't have to worry about it because they're not regulated. I mean, they're regulated by the state, and they can say whatever they want. So we'll see what happens. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is just, we've seen what's happened in China before. And there was actually, I can't say it, but if you just Google like Wuhan and virus and things like that, there's some more stuff that came out today about it. You can look it up if you want. Okay, so also,
Uber reload here. We talked about that SoFi, but when you get wicked out, you're supposed to get back in. Here's the problem with 930 trading. If you're trading one stock, it's easy to do this. But if you're trading multiple symbols, the same thing happened on Uber and SoFi to me. But I never got back into Uber because usually you can pick one. If you're trading manually, you can pull up a level 2 and buy in one stock and probably not two that fast. And then Uber does give you that reload. Now I'm getting back into this trade, and I'm probably a buyer of Uber back into 45.50. This is all day trading, of course, as I mentioned here. And then that dip buy just got put in there. SoFi missed the opportunity because it didn't come back into 1580. It actually bounced in front of 16. So that one's still running. Cassava Sciences is now firmly into this 50 to 53 range. If it can bounce off 50 here, which it looks like it's trying to do, I suddenly have a trade that I can stomach to the long side in Cassava Sciences, which is it catching a bid, giving me a trade inside of that 50 to 53 area. I can then give it some room past 50 because if you're not willing to trade Sava, and if 50 were to break, give it like a few extra pennies here to confirm that it's actually trading below that level, then you're never going to win in this stock. And I learned that lesson from a room when I actually had the top. I actually had short on the top that day that it had that double top at 144 and absolutely died a long death and got wicked out because I put a stop at an even dollar level on Sava. And I will never again have a stop that's just sitting at an even dollar level to be picked out and wicked out on Cassava Sciences. So I'm going to take my long here. So I'll do that thing where you say a quick prayer, do a prayer for me if that's what you're into. If 50 were to break, I'm giving it to this breakout price from yesterday, about that 49.50 or so. So I'm giving it an extra 50 pennies. It's a couple of dollars worth of risk on Cassava Sciences, but hey, if it does go up, it can certainly travel a couple of dollars pretty quick. Brendan?
Just saw this Bill.com popping up once again. Bill, they announced a larger, I was just reading, offering, and they also priced a $500 million offering, but volume came back in at that level from yesterday, lifted this back towards 280 for Bill, guys.
Yeah, I was just reading some emails here going back and forth, so we'll check out what those are afterwards. We are, debating changing in some of the formats of the show, so I guess I can read those emails afterwards. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so Clover, that's what I want to talk about. We're just getting out a little piece of Clover just right now. It dipped all the way down. We got out here above view up a very decent amount. And I just don't want this to fall back in. So we'll take out one more piece of Clover and now we'll wait for the rest for that high side. And hopefully that comes, like I said, sooner rather than later. But I'm willing to sit in this all day anyways, like I did yesterday, if you remember. Some people have had my back there on the chat. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but some guy was saying there. No, I wasn't talking about the Fed controlling Evergrande or anything like that. I'm talking about the Chinese state-backed bank there and their reserve. Much different how money flow works in China than it does here in the U.S., but that is not my expertise. I'm just saying we're going to always be questioning some of the accounting and some of the numbers coming out of China. This is not rocket science. I mean, this is that's been around for a very, very long time. So, okay. With that being said, DraftKings, man, we sold this $10 ago, and I'm debating getting in again. And I did sell it in we have a TFSA account, and what that is tax-free savings account. So you're allowed to deposit. What is it now? $6,000 to $7,000 a year.
It changes.
It changed. Yeah. Anyways, it is what it is. But I don't know. I just keep dumping money in there, and actually, I don't think I can anymore. But DraftKings right now, a nice move to the downside, and it's been a big pullback. And again, for me, this was simple, and it was just basically kind of like sell the rumor, buy the rumor, sell the news. But we were already in. We weren't buying any rumors. We were just selling the news. And that was football was back, baby. And the minute that was happening, I think a lot of people, got into that DraftKings trade thinking that maybe it would spark something. That's already is what it is. They still need more federal help on the legal side of this. And we'll just see what happens with DraftKings now. But a nice little dip down. Remember, we have that Entain offer yesterday, $20 billion they're trying to throw at them. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But that did spark a little bit of a dip down. I think I'll buy it if we come back above the 50-period moving average and or maybe $55 a bid on DraftKings. If we can get 55, we'll take it. But we're going to let this one fall and see where it goes from here, Mr. Wickens.
An ETF, guys, that has been mentioned on this show before, just popping up, the China large cap ETF, having quite the day here on, I guess, that Evergrande news that they will make this payment coming up on Thursday. So nice bounce back here for FXI today.
Yep. And that's, people always ask me, you, Neil, everybody here on the chat, like, what are we doing with China? And I've always said that you got to buy FXI. I mean, you could sit there and Baba. I didn't buy it. And this is just like, how are you going to pick a name to trade here? I think Alibaba is the most solid name on the board here for anybody looking to pick up something that's been beat down. I like 10-cent music. I know that Nintendo is Japanese, not Chinese, but at the same time, that's been beat down a little bit. And Pink Sheets.
One of the better charts is at least JD. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't own JD.
I
just noticed because when I bought Alibaba, I just after 1 week looked at the performance between JD and Alibaba and was like, wow, that's quite the divergence.
Or Baidu as well. Yeah, here's Nintendo.
Oh, wait, guys, just a quick second here. This AEMD just went parabolic into the upside, and just there's obvious level coming here, 6 to 630. I had two shorts. The third one didn't work out. I did reverse into a long, which of course, as usual, I just scalped out because that's what I do. But 6 to 630 looks like a big level on AEMD. It is getting very, very close. And ARC, I keep saying ARC. It's ARQQ.
That's fine. ARC.
I know. It's the symbol is ARC as far as I'm concerned. This is really starting to barcode. It failed at 38 and is now on low volume, giving you a little bit of a cluster up here. Usually this is going to be a short entry for me, but the spread is like 50 pennies, so I'm backing away. If it breaks that 38 top, watch out, this thing could halt again. I'm looking for a fail break through 38, which already happened. It couldn't get through 38.50. If it does the same thing twice, I'm definitely shorting on the way back down. So alert to ARQQ. Got a couple longs, got one short, and Sava is breaking towards 50. So thank God, at least I'm not long $3 ago. Or at least I waited for it to come to 51. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. Okay. So Uber, still coming to the downside right now, man. 40. It does take out that 46. I mean, a great move, man. Up 3%. Wow for Uber. Congratulations. I know Neil bought it, and I know there are some other people there looking at Uber. But yeah, right now it's fading out. I'm not a buyer here, but if you get back down into this level here, for like 45.20, something like that, even this top from yesterday probably holds. I mean, nothing's changed in the world of Uber. I think it's even gotten better with the NASDAQ starting to get going a little bit here. So again, but it's still up 3%. So I'm not buying it at this level for sure. But if you do fall back down and you get roughly, I can handle up 1 or 2%. I think that should be up more than that because the market's probably going to go for a run today. So let's do that. We did not, I repeat, I was saying this, and I almost sent out a short little video last night. We did not buy any Apple, but I was going to say in said video, which I did not send out, that we were getting pretty close, man, because this was a dip down. I thought 140, right where we ticked down to 141 and change, like this is just a great level. And I actually, looks like we're going to miss $3. I'm missing $3 on Apple. You might think that that's nothing because it's a $145 stock, but it is. I mean, you want to make sure that you get the right prices on some of these names. But again, Apple's going to be a long-term hold for me, so it's going to look back and it's going to be nothing. But I think that we got to start buying this at like 142 now, maybe 141. It's well below this 50-period moving average. You don't get, pullaways from there too often, and when you do, it starts to base out. So you could see this base, people believing in this name, and again, so what we have to do is find some levels, right? Based out here at 121, based out here at basically 120, 120, actually this is like 124, and then right here we did the same thing again at like 140 before popping to the all-time highs, which we did sell, 152 right here. So now we're able to look at where there's a key level. I would rather it base out for a little bit longer, and again, again, I don't want to take this day as the up day in the market to be like, hey man, all is clear, let's start buying. I don't necessarily believe in that, but we'll wait to see what happens now. I get a blotter refresh issue here, so I don't know what's going on.
Won't let you do it.
Won't let you do it either?
I think I know. I think I know what's happening there, but
okay.
Yeah, it's. Anyways,
We'll
just something to do with,
after.
it's something to do with P-Pro-8, and Sean and I will discuss it after. I just want, someone asked, why am I not, do I not like Facebook? Why am I not long this stock? I did talk about like buying the dip. I know Sean was looking at it as well. Do we not like these levels with the market coming back up? And it just made a hard bottom. And my answer is I'm trying to figure out an actual trade here, because is it a 344 break with a 41 stop or a 40 stop or a 42 stop? And there's lots of ways you can play it. Or do I take it and get half out at low of the day, save the other half for 340, which is what I'm leaning towards doing here. But either one, I think I wanted to take out a level to the upside, and as I'm saying it, I should make sure I have, Neil, get your order out first and then worry about the rest. Okay, so there we go. So 344 break, like I said, and I was leaning towards the latter being give half of it to the low of the day stop at 342, but because I like to buy in that 335 to 340 range, allow the second half to trail, and then 340 would be the stop on that. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. It does leave me some room, and I wanna be able to add a second time here, so if it comes back in and bounces off a lower high, I'll get some more shares that way, or I'll just simply add to it right in front of that low of the day. So I was just looking for a way that I like the entry into this particular name, and it's going to come down to sometimes if you can't figure out which stop you like better. I do it sometimes. I just use both. If I can't decide, do I like the low of the day, do I like 340? Well, then I'll kind of make it two trades, which is get in twice and then use both stops. Why not? It's a general long bounce. The market is coming up. We like the dip buy in Facebook anyways. It's starting to form a bit of a bottom, so we'll go ahead and do it. But I want to be adding to it at some point, and I want to use both stops, low of the day and 340.
Okay, so 358.90 here. So I'm going short on the market right now. So I just shorted the Qs, which is the NASDAQ 100. We're going to short up here right now. So there it is. We're going to put this on and we'll see where we go from here. But we're short the market right now. This is the triple Qs. You know, I'm bearish, so let's put our money where our mouth is and see about this. But this is not, this is not going to be for very long. If you see the 20-minute chart, we did, yesterday, this 369 area there. Actually, I read that wrong. I got to cancel my offer. Okay. Is that the right one there? I got to cancel my stop orders here quickly. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so we are short on the Qs right now. I put it in, for a 368.50 break, but that's not the right thing. It's 369. So we'll short the Qs up to 369. Let's just make sure that's right. Though. Okay, so I'll bring down my E-signal chart here on the 3-minute chart. And yeah, this is the 368.50 I was looking at, but I want to give it to the high right here, 369. So let's see. If we're going to be wrong, we're going to be wrong. We'll give back a little bit of money today, but we're going to short the market now and see if that works. And again, this is a little bit playing into the bias that I already have. I'm long Clover. I'm long SoFi. We won't give a whole hell of a lot of this back, but I do want to try this up to 369. We'll average in one more time, but my short in the NASDAQ is right now, and we're going to see what's happening. No, 40 did not break on AMC, did it? Wow. Okay, AMC. We have... again, man, this diamond hands no more. But we have this bid down here. Wow, look at that. Oh, now we get this wick up there. It's going to make it look crazy. But we have this bid down here at 37.80, the low of the day. I thought I was pretty good getting out at 39.50. But wow, there's a big move up. Congratulations, anybody right there on AMC. Big mover up to 40 bucks. And we talked about it resisting that 37.50 on the daily chart as well. So that's a big move up for AMC. Maybe worth fading here. No idea. But right now, the apes are in charge of this one. And I'm sure as hell glad that we made a bit of money on that long earlier on today. It's actually Lucian's my number one stock, then AMC, and then SoFi. Brendan was just at the big screen, and he's ready to rock and roll. What looks like our small cap recap. Kill him, Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, some small caps to discuss today. Weakness coming back in, as the guys were saying there, so let's get through this quickly. NNBC. I mentioned 6 to 580 was support in the midday yesterday. That immediately gets taken out at the open. We're making day lows. 7 was the other level at the top there. Obviously never came into play, but yeah, NNBC on the way back down. MRIN, as soon as it failed at the high at the open, I just took that break to the downside. That was couldn't get out of its own way once it broke that support from the pre-market on MRAN. And then the other one I was looking at is this ReWalk, RWLK. If you remember, did like 300 million shares yesterday. Today it's doing absolutely nothing, trading in a 20-cent range. So kind of disappointing on ReWalk, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, I'll say that. I see someone asking about Workhorse. We talked about it when the news came out, and I know Brennan brought it to us, and I very, very briefly went over it. It's just, if you miss a move, there's no point chasing it, and I would have looked to be shorting Workhorse on the pop, and I wasn't into it at the open at 9:30, so I'm not terribly excited about anything other than the fact that it's trying to bounce off this low from May. If it were to get back down here, it's already made one bottom, right? So it's kind of down here on the flush in the pre-market on lower volume, obviously. But since the open, it did hold up at 7. So it broke down, got to 7 even, bounced once. You had that level from the past, and then you're now bouncing off a higher low at 7.05. I'm not looking at consolidation break here. I'd be looking for a further test at that particular level. If it's a short side trade, it would have to be retesting the open price at 7.75 there for me. But it's just not terribly exciting. Once you've missed out on what I think can be the best move of the day, or I don't want to say the only move of the day, but the best move of the day, I'm not going to force the trade here. And someone asked, Jude, I'm with you. I think it wasn't really a question. FedEx needs to really start to go. Remember, the market is bouncing here. And if that's the sole reason why we're barcoding on FedEx, I still intend on taking out some more shares in the front. I didn't cover everything from 35. I still have some on. I know we reloaded at 32. My average price actually ends up being 33. So I will cover some for a couple of bucks, 2.5. And then see if we can't hold on for the further move down. If this is the case, if the market holding it up has caused FedEx to barcode, well, guess what? If the market turns around in any way, FedEx should break through the lows. I think that should be solid. Like I said, I got that Facebook. I reloaded on Uber, trying to hold the line at that 45 dip. And then Cassava Sciences, I was about to say heaping pile of you know what, but it's like every single time Sava looks like it wants to have good news, it's going to fade it all the way back in. We structured the trade to allow it to break into yesterday's range of 50 to 53. You're going to see it come right in here, actually hold 50 even, doesn't even break it, which I wasn't going to allow it to do. I will cover some. The second it gets back up to that pre-market level or the top end of the range around that 53, I'll take off a couple of dollars and see if we can run it into VWAP. I just needed a trade that I could actually structure that made some sense. The same thing was the case for me in Facebook, and I said I couldn't decide. That's why I was indecisive around that bottom. So I've decided to put two trades on. One, which is a 44 break, which I give to the low of the day, which other is a buy in front of 42. The actual low of the day that I give to that 340 level from before. So I know it's going to be that just amounts to me a long 343 ultimately. But I wanted to give it both levels, both the low of the day, just in case this is the bottom. And then if it broke, the original level that I liked when the news broke, which is down at 340. So I couldn't decide, so I'm doing both those things. Regardless, I will be covering some in front of 45 VWAP. I will be covering some in front of this previous high here, or previous pop price, 346, and then allow the rest of it to go to somewhere between 48 and 50, wherever it happens to turn. And if it breaks 50, I want something on board in Facebook, because if you got the bottom in a stock like this with the market now running, then you might as well hang on to something of this move. Keep in mind, though, I already said it, no matter how well this Facebook trade is going, if I'm still in it come 2 o'clock, I'm getting out. Just because I like being flat on momentum stocks going into any Fed day, even if I don't think they're going to change. It's just the way that I like to approach a Fed day. I know some day traders agree with me, and some will hold trades. I just never do. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. You get whipped around. Unless I have a really firm plan of action with something, and like as Sean said, like a GDX or the futures themselves, I don't like my equity plays sort of whip around. I tighten the stop or just get out of it where I can and take profits. Brendo?
There was news on this Created Incorporated in a pre-market that sent it up higher. NFT related news here, guys, for CRTD. Just popping back up here on volume, trying to get back to day highs for that one as well.
Oh man, it seems like there's always NFT news somewhere, and NFTs are pretty hot right now. The only NFT I own is something like Top Shot. I own a bunch there. And I'm just
what was that player again?
I'm just kind of Michael Carter Williams we had on is also a Top Shot.
No, I was going to ask, because remember there was one player that you were trying to get.
Oh.
And it was like, and I remember there was like, so you guys maybe didn't know this, but there was like an entire week where Sean was like, when he was not on the show, he was glued to trying to get a particular player NFT. And it was a Sacramento, I want to say it was a Sacramento player, a young power forward.
But that was when I first started.
But did you get it?
Oh, no, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because how it works is you kind of have to buy something. What?
What?
Oh, my mic is not on. No, that's why.
Oh. So I'll cover for a quick second here. We'll do this, and we'll just to give a bit of a fist bump. And I like to hit graphics. So if you have a two-part trade, the dip buy that we got at 42, like I said, cover some at 44. You go take $2 or $3 scalp. Taking the rest of this would be in front of 346. So I'll pop an order just in case we get up to that price. Facebook looking pretty good. But FedEx here, because the market is looking pretty strong, and the problem with this, like I said, FedEx, I will try to cover some because I've been sitting on this bid for a while in front of 340 to try and take a couple of bucks. It is trying to roll over, but the market strength is definitely holding this up. I will try to cover some. It makes a heck of a lot of sense to do so. And I don't want to get too far away from that ARQQ. I may have missed the trade, but that doesn't mean things are done. It did roll over from that double or triple top at 38. It is still holding that Hull price at 33 from earlier. It gets below that, and sometimes they just fade for the rest of the day. So if you're still long ARQQ, these are fresh highs for it, and below 33, I would not be shocked if it comes another $3 down to 30 even. Give me my fill, FedEx. I'm so close to the bid. Give me a break. I'm like pennies away here. One tick down, and I'm getting that fill in FedEx I've been waiting for half an hour. Brendo?
Right on cue, we're talking about NFTs. Here goes TKAT, guys. Big volume spike just came into that one, breaking $8 there.
Boom. What up, Scott? Everybody on there. Yeah, the mic is back, and we are working. It's a low ceiling today. It's been raining, and when that happens, I get a headache, and I just went and grabbed an ibuprofen. And I realized I need to refill that. But one extra strength is fine. I don't know. We'll see. I just got a little bit of a headache, ran and got that, and then forgot to put my mic on, but it's back on now. What we were just talking about there, I don't even remember, but we'll go back over. We'll figure out what we were talking about. The Qs right now starting to rock and roll as well. So, I like this one. We just took that average, 369. We talked about where our out's going to be. I like that. I like that for me as an out on this trade right now. You could see on the Qs on the board. It should be on there. Yeah, there it is. So 368.50 is my price. 51. Yep. Okay, perfect. So we'll watch to see what happens now with the Qs as it comes right back to flat. We did want to protect that top side there of 369. So that's where we're going to get out to as well. But, oh, yeah, you know what? So this is actually, I'm going to find out, lavender oil. Yeah, no, there is something. Oh, man, what's the company called? Darn it. I'll ask the wife, but they have, and it's actually really good for headaches. It's mint.
You got my attention.
It's mint or spearmint. It's like a roller, and you roll on. That's it. I'm going to find out what it is, and it's absolutely fantastic for headaches.
If that works, and they're public, you got to buy them.
No. They're like. I'm gonna find out what it is, man, and then we'll get there. But why is people saying sage? That's it. That's what it's called, sage. Yes, sage. I'll find it out for you. But there's a mint rolling stick for headaches. I think it's a peppermint. It is absolutely fantastic.
A mint rolling?
People, I mean, obviously they can hear my mic, or else they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's called sage. I don't need to ask the wife. Thank you so much. It is amazing and all natural. I just don't have it here, but I will. Maybe I'll bring it in tomorrow. It's a little like, it looks like a lipstick, and you just kind of roll it on your forehead. It is amazing for headaches. So shout out to Sage right there. I will find out more about it. And
order it on Amazon. It's like right here.
Of course you can order it on Amazon.
No, I'm not buying something because Sean just mentioned it on.
Yes, you are.
And this is another reason why, speaking of Amazon, this is another reason why I love Amazon. Because the first thing that came to my mind when I'm like, that's interesting, I get headaches too, was, can I just get it at Amazon and pay extra money for it? Because that's what you do, and it's a convenience. And I love Amazon. I want to see where that is, but the market's rallying back here. Brendan, what's up, buddy?
It's 10:30, guys. That means coming up in 15 minutes. Another great guest for you coming through. Second time back on the show, Cardio Therapeutics. David Elsley is going to talk a little bit about some of the work they're doing important work towards finding therapeutics when it comes to heart conditions, including myocarditis related to COVID-19. So important work that they're doing coming up. We'll talk to them once again back on the show. Cardio Therapeutics, guys. In the meantime, let's get a check of what's coming up or what's happening over in Europe. Miss V, tell them.
Hey guys, European markets are positive today. Gambling firm Entain, trading in London, is up more than 5% after announcing a $22.4 billion takeover proposal from DraftKings. Back to you.
Yeah, positive, or individual names, we'll say, guys, positive, but trying to get back to positive territory for some of the markets over there. U.S. obviously leading the way so far, guys.
Yeah, so shout out to my wife. She is watching. What's up, Marissa? Obviously, I love you, and thank you for the Sage product there. And she told me to bring it in. She'll bring it in to me tomorrow for that. But okay, here, I'll open this in a new window. I don't know. I mean, look, this is like such a hard life right now. There it is. We're live. There's the proof that we're live. And we got the 75-inch on the wall there. We buried the wires. We got the Apple TV box there. We've got the Switch there as well. The lovely kids are on this. And yeah.
I have an embarrassing thing to say.
Hard life right there. But, you know, you deserve it. So take the breaks. And thank you for watching the show. So this way I can be accountable for all of my trades.
You know what's hilarious? And this is like, I'm going to embarrass myself by saying this. I actually have the exact same shade of nail polish on my toes as Marissa does. And why is that? Because I have a 4-year-old daughter. That's the reason. And I don't care what anyone says. If you have a young child, and Sean knows it too.
Mine are painted as we speak.
Yeah, then every Saturday morning, or maybe it's Sunday morning, depending on your household.
There's only one thing that's happening Sunday morning, my friend.
Okay, it's Saturday for our household too, because it's football on Sundays. But you get your nails painted, and that's just the reality. But I'm going to do this because we're going to be happy about Facebook. Now, I hadn't get anything out, and I wish this wick was true, but it's now consolidating off 344, as we're now 0.6% or more so on the NASDAQ. The ES getting close to 1% up. So I kind of thought it was a bearish day today. I found my way into a Cassava Sciences long, which is not normal, but it's basically flat. I think if we make another push up here in Facebook, we'll get very close to getting out. I'm going to throw, I don't have an order out, but I should put one. If it gets to that 340, I guess 346 area, I do want to cover some more shares here, guys. So I'm going to put one just around VWAP. This is the cluster we're working with. It's the initial pre-market bottom, right? So that pre-market bottom was a 45 into 46 when it broke out, and then it put that in at the open as well, and then it was resistance. So I would expect it to check up there at least a little bit. My average price on Uber is now 45.75. That's close to flat. Cassava Sciences, this is, I'll say it blindly. This is a bit of a gamble, but at least I could structure this one. And again, it was just they had positive news. They had been trying to break out. It made a higher low. If you go all the way back into May, it made a higher low of that 40 level. And then it's trying to break out through this 50, barcoded 50 to 53, came out with the news, rejected 70, and came right back in and gave you an entry point in the range. I didn't like buying in front of it unless it showed strength. It didn't. So I bought it in front of yesterday's support cluster on that breakout. That's just a safer trade to me because now I have a hard stop, but a couple of dollars lower. I'm risking 2 to try and make anywhere from 3 up into at least like $5 or $6. So might hang on to this one for at least until 2 o'clock. Nothing I have on isn't a longer hold. I did miss the heck out of ARQQ. I can admit that to the short side, but I'm not chasing it. No way, no how. If I do go back into this name, it'll be on a test of that current high at 38 to 38.5, or it going parabolic into 40 even. Pretty much nothing else for me on ARQQ. Bit of a miss, but I paid for the shorts. It doesn't mean I have to force myself into using them. Sometimes you have to understand the concept of a sunk cost, and if you miss a big mover on one of these, then you paid for the shorts and it's a sunk cost. Don't force the trade.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't ask you what I'm supposed to do for this. Blotter snapshot request already in process. Okay, maybe I have to log out.
Yeah, I was going to say yes.
That's probably what I'll do at some point here. Okay, so thank you for the attention on Weemy here. But I went short, and I'm going to regret this very, very soon. I believe, anyways, it is very, very strong. We just shorted it right now, Weemy at 483 right now. So I'm actually trying to use this last tick as the high. We've seen that happen a lot of times, many times on many different names. So we'll wait to see here if that holds out. If not, this is, for me, it's well worth the risk. You see it's just come upside big time for this. If we can risk like 30 cents to try to make, I guess it would be 30 cents back here, then to me right here, it's going parabolic a little bit just in the last minute or two. So let's see if it comes back to the downside a little bit here. It's not a big position. I'm not very familiar with this stock, but it is setting up for me to try something. So we'll try it right now, and we'll see if we can get it back down. I'll take out half if we can get to 460, I guess, and then we'll see if it wants to come back into 4. But right now, Weemy going to the upside, and we did take that. Our Q's position is like not getting any better. Well, it's just getting flatter, I guess. Nothing's really happening. We did take a nice short there. I think that was going to be a good price, 75, 72 or so. But we did start this right here at 33 when we thought maybe we were starting to think about going to the downside. Then we averaged up right there, not down, averaged up into that trade. And now we'll wait to see. So we are short now at 51. It's at 61, 10 cents Crimea River. But we are waiting for this. I do want to take, now that I'm in it, I do want to take a piece out here if we can around, I mean, what's my price? 51. If we could take 50 cents, that'd be great. But the market's going to have to crash. So we'll wait to see when that comes through now. Don't know if it's going to happen before the show ends. Clover, a name, yeah, I'll throw to Brandon in 1 second. Clover's a name that we like, and I just want to talk about it quickly because I'm going to put out an offer right here, 89, I guess, right now. See if we can't take a piece out as we're on the top of this. Clover, man, 1.4%. Come on, where's add a 1 in front of that at least. What's up, Brendo?
That's Netflix, guys, having a nice day, up 3.5% here, just trying to get back above some highs on the daily chart here for Netflix. Apparently, they picked up Roald Dahl's novelist, a UK novelist, so they signed an agreement for that content. Nothing else terribly significant, though, for Netflix, guys.
Yeah, I see that Wimmy note there. That was yesterday, that Roald Dahl news,
Yeah,
but because I remember messaging it to Marissa because we are fans.
Matilda.
My kids just, that was one of the ones, I think, is that a Netflix? I don't know if that's, yeah, it must be Netflix, it's not Disney. So my kids just finished watching Matilda and they loved it, so.
Look, obviously, we're not reading each other's minds. It's just, you got kids, and I've known Sean a long time. Like, Matilda's the first thing that came to mind. ONTX is back on the radar. I didn't trade this. I feel like maybe Brendan was involved in this name. It didn't make our watch list for some reason. But either way, let's just go over the technicals here because it made a break right up to this 620 level. Lower high got put in the pre-market, and then same consolidation level from that pre-market. It broke down. It's now screaming into here on volume. So you're shooting 625 to 635 is a resistance area. On the daily, I'll zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. On the daily, there's no obvious levels. It sort of broke past that 25, and keep that in mind because that's where we're here right now, that lower high. And then if it were to break out the high of the day, you're looking at maybe like a 750. But until then, like I said, 625, at least a couple times is that prominence. It's prominent on the daily chart. I'll give it a chance to fail at this level before getting into the short. I'd much rather get it below that 20 level if it can break some bids here, and then I can use both the lower high and the high of the day as a little bit of cover, guys. So ONTX definitely on our radar now. With only 20 minutes till we got to get out of here, but this one just popped up, and the volume's still increasing, actually.
There's a new member, and this is coming from my wife, of course, because she's watching. So there's a new member to Katina household. Who's heard of an axolotl before? Huh? So this is an axolotl. He's chilling out in here. It's like a salamander. They're amazing. This is not a great view of it, but he's chilling out right there. So what's up? The name Axel Rose, I think is his name. But one kid likes to call her. My daughter likes to call it, I don't know if it's male or female, Rosie, and then my main man calls it Axel. So there's the axolotl, if you guys are interested in that. They are actually banned in some states because of their endangered species, but they are not here. So that's that. They're from Mexico, actually. So you can look that up. They're really pretty cute there. That's an axolotl. Okay. Oh, someone used to have one there. What's up, Santiago? Used to have one. They're really, really easy to deal with. That's for sure. Okay. AKA right now, just a new IPO just opened up. AKA Brands, Brendan. I don't know anything about this company, but they are opened up a new IPO. How often do we get IPOs at this time of day? It would have been a great bid here because it opened up at 950 and ripped to about 10, basically 990 or so. Then came all the way back down to that 950. So we'll see if there's levels here of this. What's here at 950? I don't really see anything. We're not down that low on the New York book. So we'll see what happens if it comes. Whoops. We'll see what happens if it comes back to 950 again. But AKA just chilling out right now. But new IPO, 2 million shares. Might be coming up on some of your screens here, but AKA watch it at 9. Be very, very careful of this thing at 950. If it cracks below that, then we cannot support that IPO. What's up, Brendan?
It doesn't look terribly large, guys. It's an online fashion retailer, AKA Brands. So they're e-commerce fashion retailer. So 10 million shares at 11 per share on that IPO. So 100 and change, if my math is correct, million on that one.
That's funny. Why did I not think about that? What's up to Jude quickly here? Like, how did I not think about Axe Capital for the axolotl? Like, come on. But great call there, Jude.
great, honestly, great show. I put in the chat because I didn't want to interrupt. That ONTX, super, super strong. So I backed off on adding to it around that cluster at 25. So I got the first entry and then waited for it to test that high. And then the second it did, it rejected 50, and I was able to get some more shares here. So my average price is going to be 31. Thankfully, it'd be a heck of a lot worse if I had just jumped into it on that consolidation there. Stops at the high of the day. I'm going to try and relieve some here in front of that 25 because if it gives a consolidation, I want to be able to play the range. My stop, no matter what, will be at that high of the day, which is 655. And then we will send you to the sector watch with Brendan. Like the market's up, approaching 1% in the ES. There's a big piece of red on that board that I'm very, very curious about here. Sector watch with Brendan. Let's see.
That's going to be FedEx.
Hey guys, yeah, positive day for the overall S&P 500. Here we go. Nice looking board, 0.88 right now to the upside. Few notable names negative on the day. We talked about FedEx, we talked about Adobe standing out there. UPS being dragged down as well. Worth noting, obviously. Way over here, Facebook under pressure as well, 3.6% to the downside. We saw that move in the pre-market. Everything else, though, in the communication services group having a nice day, including Disney bouncing back nicely, 1.7%. Netflix, we just showed you there, 3.7%. That INCY, remember yesterday it was halted. FDA did not approve one of their treatments. Adobe, FedEx, we talked about. RJF, that was a price target cut and a downgrade, if I recall, in the banking group. But look at the rest of this group. I mean, the rest of the financial sector is positive. Just RJF, big move down on a downgrade, I believe. Industrials also having a nice day outside of these two that we mentioned there, FedEx and UPS. All of the airlines here notably higher once again today, 2 to 2.5% for airlines. If you come up to the consumer discretionary group, that usually means that, yep, all the travel names, the hotels, casinos, cruise lines also having a nice bounce back day, up to 6.25% there for MGM, guys. Back over to you.
So obviously crazy things happening. I'm just going to go back over quickly to Facebook because I feel like I'm looking gift horses in the mouth here at VWAP.
Oh, not again, not again.
I know. I'm sitting here above this cluster at 44. And this is getting to the time of the day where if it's going to tell me that this bottom pick trade that we got, like the first half of the trade, I should say, if it's going to tell me that this bottom is a little bit closer to this 45 and sort of my outs would closer to this 45 than that 46, then I want to be able to possibly rinse and repeat. So if we're going to cluster down here, I'm going to take another leg out, try and take some profit at that 42, because if the actual low of the day is going to be good, and we'll talk about the 40 a little bit later on if it comes into play, then I want to take a quick shot here to play inside of this range. If I can get the $2, I'll just... And this is what I'm telling you, man. If you ever see this, if I wasn't short this name and this happens, then I'm 100% entering a short trade at 655. Of course, I'm actually already in the short. So I just got some shares out there, and I'm going to not look gift horse from out. Cover some in front of 6 even. Cover some probably down in front of like a 585 to 590. But anytime you get a failed jailbreak like that, if I'm not in the short, I'm getting into the short on the move, and I'm trying to hold on to the short. So ONTX flushing. If it comes back in, I'm definitely taking shares, or back up, I should say. I'm definitely getting more shares in front of that 635, in front of 635 or so. But that just came in on a flush. Not all things are working. If there's one trade I probably deserve to lose on today, it's the fact that I went long Cassava Sciences, right? So that is testing 50 even. If it breaks that, my stop is at 49.50, and I will take the hit, and that will be a losing trade on the long side. But I took a shot, and I was actually able to structure the trade in a way that I liked, trying to bottom pick on it. It gives up everything. This had bounced from 53 to 70, and then is now down 5% on the day. That probably tells you all you need to know about trading Cassava Sciences. Man, I wish I had that thing short at the top.
All right, I mean, marijuana stocks are bumping today, but you know, we like the beat. We like the beat. Shout out to Rob for that one as well. He's back. Rob is back in the building, and we couldn't be happier. SoFi right now, 1650 right there. So we are done, and that's why we throw that out there, and there we go. A little darker there. Okay, so yeah, so far. I mean, this is a one-shot banger today. One time in there, we defend. We talked about 1550. It's right here. It's on said sticky note. You can find that on Instagram. It's gonna be hard to see. Forget it. You can find that on Instagram or on Twitter. But that was the one-shot wonder there for SoFi in there defending this 1550. We didn't have to get down there. I had another bid at 1555 that never got filled, but whatever. We'll take that one and run that for about 75 cents up to today's high right now. Oh, and guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back, because right here, the market's starting to get shady maybe at the high side right now. So this is now in the money, 10 cents. Ooh, we're not taking that out, but we can wait. Thank you so much, Jude, again for this, or again, I mean, we mentioned you already today. Thank you so much. Yeah, hey, Jude, what's up for that one? Thanks for the $10, and thank you for your patronage and continuing to watch us. But okay, Jude's been here for a while. 368. I'm gonna put a bid at 368.10, guys. Take 40 cents. I haven't held this 40 cents against me, so we will take that if it can come through. Who knows, man? This market can fall like a knife, or what do they say, like a elevator. Hopefully escalators aren't falling too much, but nice move to the downside here. Let's just put a bid in case we get picked up there. That's going to be a good trade. We did get our Clover for another dime. I mean, we've just been bottom picking Clover. I don't want to average into this one. I'm done with Clover. I mean, that stock has been super disappointing to me. And then Weemy, we're still waiting for that 510 to break. We're holding this short. It's kind of barcoding up here. This is not good. If it really meant to fail off 510, it would have came down already. So I am expecting this to break right now on me, and then we'll put a loser on the board finally here today. MRIN is one, and then looks like Wimmy is going to be another one. If it breaks 510, there it is. So we are out. So we will fire a chicken off there and take that one as Wimmy just hits it, and then right back to the downside. It's a 30-cent hit. Is it 30 cents? Yeah, 29 cents there. Not the end of the world, but we should have gone long on that one once we saw this barcoding. That was a great opportunity. Actually, it did go in the money for us a little bit, but there we go. Wimmy to the upside. I think it still could be shorted. What's up, Brendan?
All right, guys, thanks so much. Yeah, we teed it up earlier. We're thrilled to have David Elsley, CEO and founder of Cardial Therapeutics, back with us once again to discuss a very important topic and a very important work the company's doing towards therapeutics in the cardiovascular space, and more specifically surrounding myocarditis when it comes to COVID-19. It's great to see you, David, as always. Welcome back. When last we spoke, the company had just uplisted to the NASDAQ back in August. It's great to see the volume, first of all, that the stock has been trading on a daily basis, and obviously the move that we've seen in this stock. What can we attribute this to? More exposure, obviously, in the U.S. What are your thoughts here?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having us back. I would ascribe the observations you're making to really the recognition of the great work we're doing in very important areas of heart disease, which don't have available treatments currently. You mentioned myocarditis. Myocarditis remains a leading cause of sudden cardiac death in children, in young, healthy adults. There is no recognized standard of care. Other companies that have developed important new treatments for rare cardiac conditions have reached valuations in the multiple billions. You can think of Myocardia, for example, which was acquired last year for $13 billion. And I think now that we are listed on the premier global stock exchange for life sciences and innovative biotechnology companies, we are now beginning to be revalued and recognized, and that's what you're observing.
Well, back in August, we talked about the approval for the phase 2 trial for the company's therapeutic, working on some of these treatments towards improvement, at least in this space. Give us an update here. Tell us how the trial is progressing, where we're at this point, and maybe what is to be expected going forward.
Sure. Acute myocarditis is our second major effort in inflammatory heart disease. You may be aware that we also have a phase 2/3 program already operational, which is enrolling over 400 high-risk cardiac patients who develop systemic inflammation as a result of the immune response to COVID infection in high-risk patients with heart disease. acute myocarditis represents our second FDA clearance for a new important initiative in inflammatory heart disease. And then we have a new development that will be emerging towards the end of the year, which is an entirely new way to deliver our anti-inflammatory therapies to concentrate in heart tissue to address the mass market of heart failure, which remains the leading cause of death and disability in the Western world, affecting over 26 million people at any one time.
And sadly, this COVID ordeal is not going anywhere anytime soon, it would appear. So as we said, important work the company continues to do towards a therapeutic and a treatment towards improving these conditions. Cardiol also recently announced they're going to participate in the virtual Cantor Fitzgerald Health Conference this year. And this is a big deal. The CEO of Pfizer, guys, the keynote speaker this year at this virtual healthcare conference. David, tell everyone, what does this mean as far as the recognition for such a big event?
Well, again, I think this will be our first major conference that we're presenting at since listing on the NASDAQ. So Cantor Fitzgerald is a premier investment bank, amazing analyst coverage, amazing coverage of life sciences and innovative technology companies. So as you say, this is a big deal. It's a big deal for the company. It's amazing, or it's a real thrill to be presenting alongside many other prestigious players in the life sciences pharmaceutical industry. And this is a wonderful venue for us to introduce the great work we're doing in heart disease to life sciences community in general, investors in particular, and generally continue to broaden the awareness of the work we're doing, because ultimately that helps build the brand of Cardiol Therapeutics, assists us with patient recruitment, assists us with building awareness amongst the cardiology community, and ultimately helps us develop new important medicines.
CRDL, guys, the ticker both on the NASDAQ and here as well in Toronto on the TSX. David Elsley, President and CEO of Cardiol Therapeutics. A pleasure as always. We look forward to another update.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. There we go, guys. CRDL, as I mentioned, Cardiol Therapeutics.
Thank you very much. Another fantastic interview. I'll try not to make a joke about their daily chart, Cardiol's, relative to Cassava Sciences, which
they have a great daily
since
chart.
They come to
Have
NASDAQ.
you showed that chart?
No, I used to draw a lot of trend lines. I've probably said this a couple of times. I started out before I went to I actually traded penny stocks for my first success as a day trader. But I started out thinking I was just going to draw trend lines all over the place and momentum trade. And again, you could draw a very nice one on this name. But it's a trading show. We show winners. We show losing trades all the time. This is me. I tried to structure a trade in Cassava Sciences alongside that made some sense. And regardless, it still did this to me. It flushed me down the toilet. The only positive is that I could have forced this one at 53 or 54. And I talked about it here, looking for a bottom pick around 54. And that would have been a $4 or $5 loser. So I was able to structure the trade in such a way that I lose a couple of bucks on it and still expose myself to the upside there. So bye-bye, I'm no longer in this name. I'm still in that Facebook trade. I didn't get the reload, so I did take some shares out. Like I said, I was going to cover some a little bit in front of VWAP again, but it never came back down to give me an entry between 42 and 43. So I will try to pick up more shares. It does look like it's found resistance at 45. As Sean said, the market is trying to turn around here. At least it looks like it's trying to turn around here. And if that were to be the case, I'll probably get another shot at buying in front of that bottom. So Facebook holding the long, still holding some FedEx to the short side, got that ONTX, and then Uber. That's sort of barcoding on me below VWAP here. I want to see if I can't hold on to that one. At least in towards 2 o'clock, because I don't want to be, I kind of want to be flat going into 2 a.m. We still have a long time. We got a lot of time.
Yeah, 3 hours for that one. I mean, that Facebook trade will sort itself out. But yeah, again, on a Fed day, if it's your first time, you probably don't get too much movement here for the rest of the day until that 2 o'clock moment. But it's still, I mean, with the market moving around, there's still lots of possibilities. So we did get back into that WEME, and believe it or not, we're just pennies away from being flat on the trade. So we'll take out half and then see if our short's going to be right. So we're just, where am I bidding? I'm bidding at 87, which will give me the exact same amount of victory or win that we had on this loss, because we were able to get 17s, or sorry, what am I short at? 12s there, and we got out of 10s. But let's see if it can come back. I'm bidding 87s. Can you believe that? If it stops at 88 there, that would be ridiculous. But we'll wait to see if that can come in. I still think it does. That Marin, which is really our only one that we've had an issue with all day today. We only have one loser on the board. I mean, we are holding WIMI, which we just talked about that, one more penny and we're flat on that. And we're holding the Qs, which we're out right now, 7 cents. MRIN, we could have just took 20 cents on Qs. Talk about that. I am on the bid right now. 875 or so, a nice bottom there for Marin. Looks like we may have won on this, but we did not. We didn't get enough out. We were hoping for a much bigger blow than this to the upside, and we just didn't take 11. So the minute we didn't take 11, that should have been a little bit of an indication there. But if it gets going, man, what about 940? So we can try this one more time. 940 is a long on MRIN if I get it. We only have 3 minutes to go, but I am going to go long at 940 on this name, guys.
Absolutely. And hey, like you said, only 3 minutes to go. Thank you, Temp 3117. There you go. Coupang, we'll get to that one in a quick second. I'll just add that to the quote board there. Like Sean mentioned, we are going over to Memes and Movers in just a couple of minutes, because it is very, very close to 11 o'clock. It was a question just before we got that super chat asking, do I have any interest in AKA? I am looking. Look, I didn't see a trade. There's no obvious levels on an IPO unless you're talking to me, even dollar breaks or maybe consolidations or previous levels. So it does give you some opportunities for dip buys. And then an even buy at 10 does stand out. I'll look to see what's at that 11 offer. I don't really see a heck of a lot in terms of size for potential break. And I don't like a parabolic move into a break. A consolidation break probably set up there at 10.50, but I've obviously missed that one. Brendan, what do we got?
Just checking out BlackBerry here, guys, up 4%. They're set to report after the close tonight. So BB on watch here, 4% today so far. Nothing else notable on the earnings board for tonight, guys, but BlackBerry worth noting.
Yeah, BlackBerry earnings are always interesting because they are in that realm of meme stock. So we'll see what happens there. Probably a lot of traders may be holding the bag. So we'll see what happens with BlackBerry there. Okay, so the Qs, we talked about that. We're going to wait. If we get busted, it's at 369. It'll be a hit, but whatever. We can absorb it today. WIMI there, just so you know, we got out at 90 there. It was just bouncing around too much. I said to myself, what am I waiting for 87s for? I'll just take 90s. So we're out of half of WIMI. Look at this, man. The Nasdaq's going to take the top again. This is great. I mean, I'm still, my account's still loaded up. We are in about 10% cash. Just wish I would have deployed that yesterday, I guess. Does that make sense? Yesterday at the close. Okay, what's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, it was a busy morning so far. I hope you are doing great and in a profitable territory. Please don't leave without liking this video and double check if you subscribe to our channel. Me and Prad are super excited to start our midday show, and happy National Ice Cream Cone Day, everyone.
How can you go wrong? But here, I will say this about like ice cream cones. It's got to be like a good waffle cone. Because I don't know what they're called, but like the one that just tastes like plastic, or that standard cone that you'll buy that usually you can always get. That's just a waste of time. Put it in a bowl. If that's the case, you get more ice cream in a bowl anyways. But if it's a good waffle cone, I am all for it. I think it's fantastic. I would easily go for one right now. Because we got a super chat about Coupang, I just want to very, very quickly say it's not a bad shot play, because I understand like e-commerce is fantastic and there's a lot of growth potential in the name. I would probably treat it as such, right? Like the market's screaming to the upside, and it's breaking lows on the session, and it's breaking multi-day support lows on this particular session as well. So oh my goodness, sometimes these really don't age well. And I'm now remembering what happened to me when I had this top on Coupang, is the market closed on me, and I actually had this. And then the next day, why wasn't I shorting this level? You ever see this happen where there's not enough, why are my lines on the chart? Because I was just looking at drawing trend lines. So of course that just absolutely screwed me up, and now I can't go back. Anyways, it now won't even let me pull back. But if you ever see yourself catching a short at the top like that, and then it's not enough time for it to fall down, and you give the short the next day, you should be all over it. What I was trying to get at here was, It's made a multi-day bottom that's now breaking to the downside. So even if you like it for a long-term shot play, I understand there's a lot of risk to the downside still in this name. It is a horrible-looking chart, and they're under a lot of pressure, as a lot of Asian companies are currently. But it's a South Korean e-commerce play, and they have a big market they can address, and at least their market share is absolutely fantastic. It's a long shot, so make sure you're putting an amount of capital to it that you can afford to lose. In my humble opinion, the trend is not your friend with Coupang. It is time for us to go back over to Trader Pratt and Miss V. I don't know if you need anything to the green side today. I thought it was going to be a bit of a red day like you, Sean, but the market is screaming. Time for some memes and movers. Let's go to Trader Pratt and Miss V.
Hey guys, welcome back to Trader Pratt and Miss V over here, the beautiful Miss V. We are the hosts of Memes and Movers. This is the midday show, Miss V.
Yes, guys, we're super excited to be back. Thank you for joining us today. As usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, write what you trade and what would you want us to bring up and look at the stock.